Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Welcome to episode 62 of the It's Obvious Gaming Podcast. I am your host, Preston Pugh, and I am joined by my two best friends, Garrett Drake.
Hello, Preston.
And Jacob Alka.
Welcome back, Preston.
Gentlemen, how are we doing this fine Saturday afternoon?
Great is the word I would describe this day as. It's been very smooth. I had some T-Bell. It was
by
great.
yourself?
Oh, I had it with Casey. It was delicious. And
that's good.
That T-Bell on our exit that we always go to is still struggling exponentially, but it's always worth the long and ridiculously, I messed up that sentence. It's always a ridiculously long wait for that food.
Yeah.
But that being said, it's always worth the wait because it is top quality. So I enjoyed my meal. What else happened that was pretty funny? Can't remember. Come back to me. It's a great day so far. I'm
Jacob,
glad to be here.
How about yourself? What'd you eat? What have you done today?
Today I woke up, checked social media, as I always do when I get up.
See anything exciting?
Did I see anything exciting?
There's never really anything exciting on the internet these days. It's just a bunch of filth and garbage. So
that's pretty much what I saw.
Facebook's a disgusting, vile place.
I should try to stay off, but I'll get on if I have nothing else to look at.
I feel you. Every now and then I'll come across like a really funny video. I'm like, I'm glad I got on Facebook for 10 seconds today. So, but that's very rare these days, unfortunately.
Yeah, I had some breakfast.
What'd you have?
I had a bagel with egg, cheese, and ham in it.
Wow, man, you eat well at the Alka household. It's probably why you look so good. I mean damn, Jacob.
I just like to eat.
Look at
it's
this guy.
all in the food.
It is.
No
it's all
work.
in the food. His skin
it's
is
all
like
in the food.
If you guys ever have the pleasure of touching Jacob's skin one day, it's just a real pleasure. I mean, he is as soft as felt or something.
That's
like,
one of our.
Felt?
Is felt soft?
I don't know.
I don't know. He's soft as a baby. Like if you ever
felt
felt
is
a
a
baby
weird
skin,
comparison.
he's a very soft man.
That's one of our Patreon goals is to come touch Jacob's skin.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
If we ever have a Patreon, it'll be like the most expensive one. You can touch Jacob's skin.
Yeah.
I told Casey, I was like,
fly me out
yeah,
to you.
Jacob feels so good with his muscles and soft skin. I was like, Casey, if you want to cuddle Jacob, like that's fine. I would understand. Like, go for it.
Okay.
Just to experience it, because I've given Jacob a few hugs in my day. I'm like, wow, this man has got something going on.
Yeah.
So thanks for being here, Jacob.
All in the food. All in the food.
Yeah, but that meal you posted, those burgers you had at your house last week, holy crap,
those were so
man.
good.
And the brats,
those
look good.
That looked amazing.
Great. Yeah, we usually have like that meal like once a week. Because I love burgers so much.
That's awesome. I wish we cooked at my house more.
I mean, it has a lot to do with my brothers because my mom has to cook to feed them. So she might as well make something nice for the whole family.
Maybe if your family loved you, they'd cook you something too.
Just maybe. Yeah. I'm going to have to talk to my family about that.
Both of your parents work a lot. So.
I just go in the backyard and pick some onions out of the ground. You know, like the weeds that have onions in them.
And mushrooms.
Yeah, onions and... Yeah, the mushrooms in the backyard I found are the most nutritious and they're not bad for you at all. So typically throw those in a stew with the weed onions and, stir fry them a bit and good to go.
Throw a little leaf in there for the what's the word I'm looking for? The presentation.
Exactly.
Exactly. What is that word? People put a little basil or like a arugula
or like
the garnish.
The
garnish. Yeah,
kind of sprinkle
with
something
a little
over
leaf.
it.
Yeah.
It's a very, very nutritious meal. I highly suggest it to those who are trying to improve their health and improve their diet. Mushrooms in the backyard and weed onions. That's how you do it.
I hope no one actually does that.
I wouldn't suggest it for real, but man, if you're up for an adventure, go for it.
Yeah, sure.
What about you, Preston? How's your week?
It was fine. Today or this week?
Just
in general. Just talking about today? Okay, this week is fine.
Anything exciting happen?
That's a good question.
I wasn't done.
No.
Let's go back to
Jacob. Finish. Jeez. Did you finish? You didn't even finish.
I haven't even started.
Yeah, he started, then he was like, come back to me.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm back to you now. I'd much rather listen to you than Jacob.
Well, you have something else to say, don't you, Jacob? I'd like to hear it.
I mean, we've heard enough say that I helped out my dad on the yard today.
Oh,
cool. Did you? I'm actually supposed to mow
work.
the yard after this. So
you gonna do it?
Probably, yeah. Because the sun will be going down. It'll feel a little.
See, I like doing it in the sun because I feel like I'm getting a tan.
It is hot as shit.
See, I'm so white that
take your shirt off.
Yeah.
So hot.
Last time I mowed the lawn, I did it shirtless, and I'm so white now that there's like no turning point. Like I've hit a level of whiteness that I literally reflect the sun. I didn't get the slightest bit of sun when we were in Florida, and I didn't either. I only wore sunscreen the first day, and the rest of the time I didn't. I was like, I need to have some color because I look like I'm sick all the time. I'm so white, and I reflected it like a mirror. So
yeah,
I can go out in the sun and not get tan, so I might as well wear like a hazmat suit when I go out there to avoid sunburn. So
yeah, I actually used a sledgehammer today for the first time.
Did you?
Yeah.
Wow. What for?
We're building a new.
Are you hitting gophers and keep them in their holes?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I figured.
Exactly. We're building a new like concrete patio in our backyard and putting a fire pit in the middle of it.
Sounds awesome.
And we have like a tiny little slab where our basement stairs come down to. And I was breaking that apart with a sledgehammer.
That sounds awesome. I bet you look awesome doing that. Did you do it shirtless?
Yeah.
Dude, can you imagine? That'd be a sight to see.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Sure.
I'd imagine using a sledgehammer to smash anything would be fun.
Breaking up the concrete with a sledgehammer?
Mm-hmm.
Was it effective?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, it took a few swings at the same spot, but it eventually...
Did you make like
It's a very thick piece of concrete. It's like this thick.
Did you make like a warrior grunt every time you hit it? Like, yeah.
Yeah, scare it.
Like that?
Mm-hmm.
And I've broken some concrete back in the day when I did construction stuff. We never used a sledgehammer.
Yeah, so. I'm sure you had a much more effective, like a... what's that thing you stand on?
A jackhammer.
Like, jackhammer.
Yeah, I've
you ever used one of those?
Yeah.
Nice.
Those several times. It's not
Do
fun.
they make your nips vibrate?
They make literally every
Is it the kind of situation like when you're done, you still feel like your hands are vibrating? I hate that feeling.
And it's just like... There was one time I was in a parking garage down in Atlantic Station down in Atlanta.
Yeah.
You know that parking garage that's underneath everything, and we needed to like extend like this one lane into 2 lanes, so we had to like literally there was like a big sidewalk thing there, so we had to just like take it all out. And it took like an entire week of just sitting there with earplugs in, just like
that sounds like hell.
It was hell.
Oh my gosh.
So I appreciate the job though, because literally I'm never going to have a worse job than that. So no matter where I am, I'll be like, well, at least I wasn't
at least
I wasn't.
That's a good way to look at it for sure.
Yeah. My parents forced me to do that.
Wasn't that your first job?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that was my first like
real job.
So my parents kind of forced me into that because they wanted to, they wanted me to have a really sucky job so I could appreciate that. So, and they paid for my college too. So that was another incentive to do it. But yeah, as y'all know, I skipped that job quite frequently.
You did, to play mostly Diablo 3.
Yeah, pretty much. I would like work bare minimum to make rent, and then I would just disappear.
I wish I could do that with any job. That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
like work at your own will.
I was like friends with my supervisor. Like I played games with him and stuff, so it was like fine if I didn't.
What was his name again?
I would prefer
Squeaky,
not
right?
to. No, I don't want to talk about that.
That's not his real name.
No, but still.
Okay.
Yeah, I would prefer no names to go.
His name's Squashy.
Yeah, Squashy.
That's his name.
Anyways, this week I worked. I played The Last of Us just to get that platinum trophy, which I finally have.
How was that? How did it feel when you finally got it?
It was fine. It's been a long time coming.
So when it popped, you weren't like, hooray! You're just kind of like you just kind of tipped your hat to it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Nice.
So
that game deserves a platinum.
Yeah. Huh?
I asked if you literally tipped your hat.
I wasn't wearing one.
Okay.
I did tip my head.
Okay.
I thanked Naughty Dog for I've platinumed every one of their games.
That's great.
On the PlayStation consoles.
I've never platinumed any of their games because I don't respect them.
Okay.
Yeah, what about Crash?
That's fine.
Did you platinum Crash?
Well,
you're gonna platinum the remaster?
I don't know about that.
I think you should. Just
I'm
not
a big fan of
Crash.
Games. Well, I don't know. Well, yeah. I'm sure they're not the ones remastering it.
Right.
So, but
that's true.
Anyways, I feel like did you finish or did
finish what?
I'm just gonna go ahead and finish my week. Okay. I didn't do anything. I saw Suicide Squad.
Right. We want to hear your thoughts.
Okay.
On that.
I thought it was good. It was fine.
Okay.
I had fun with it.
Yeah.
I think there were some problems with it. Like
Certainly.
I didn't think any of the action scenes were that cool. I liked the characters though. I liked the Joker. I liked Harley Quinn. I thought Deadshot was pretty cool. Captain Boomerang was pretty cool. Like I told you, I'm glad they killed Slipknot.
Yeah.
Because the second they introduced him, I was like, there's too many. And they blew his head off. And I was like, okay, that's cool. I'm spoiling right now. Sorry.
Yeah.
Go see the movie, whatever. Nobody cares about Slipknot.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, besides that, that's the only spoiler I'll give. But I thought Joker was cool. I'm excited to see him in an actual, full-on role.
Well, his full-on role so far has been in Rick Ross's music video.
Yes.
He probably had more screen time in that than he did in the entire Suicide Squad movie.
Yeah. That's like basically every comment on that video.
Yeah. I predicted that when I clicked on that video. I was like, I guarantee every comment's going to be like, wow, this is his full role finally. It's like, this is the extended cut. And I was right.
But, yeah, it was fine. I liked it. It was okay.
Yeah.
My girlfriend said it was one of the best movies she's seen in years.
Really? That's a bold statement.
That is a bold statement. And I was like...
When was the last movie she saw in years?
She saw Civil War with me.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And she said that one was okay.
Man.
So, yeah.
Well, to each his own, you know.
To each his own. She's, she's not a,
It was a very entertaining movie.
She just watches movies. She watches 16 and Pregnant and Twilight every week. So she watches that crap. So I wouldn't take her.
Movies.
It's understandable.
I wouldn't take her judgment, too seriously.
It's all right.
So, anyways.
Cool. So overall, then you had fun. You had fun with it, right?
Yeah, it was fun.
Okay.
It's not a 25 on Rotten Tomatoes or whatever the heck it is.
Right. Yeah, that's a little brutal.
So some of these reviews I'm reading, I'm like, that's interesting that you've come to that conclusion.
Right.
So
yeah, I don't think it's anywhere near as bad as some of the critics are saying.
Even like DC Universe, I think it's the bandwagon hate thing we were talking about 2 weeks ago. It's kind of like it's cool to hate DC. Not saying that it doesn't deserve some hate, but it's a little ridiculous at this point. Like these movies aren't as bad. And famous YouTubers who review movies like Jeremy Johns, people like that, are giving this movie, I think, the reviews it actually deserves. That it's a fun time and stuff. Whereas these pish posh, I'm with the Washington Post.
Yeah, they want to sound intelligent and stuff. They're using their big fancy words.
Yeah, they just go into these like long dramatic paragraphs talking about how this one scene didn't resonate with my emotional impact of the 20 minutes prior to this character's, it's just
their character's journey.
Yeah, whatever. It's a freaking movie about a clown man and his girlfriend and a Batman on top of their purple car flying around and him going, come on. It's what it is. You don't need to go too deep into it. So,
right.
Yeah, whatever.
But speaking of Suicide Squad, for those that want to have an in-depth discussion about spoilers and other scenes from the movie, or just the movie in general, we did do a review. It's on youtube.com/itsobviousgaming in our review playlist. So if you want to just talk about Suicide Squad, or where we can spoil it and not ruin it for anyone else who hasn't already seen it, by all means, join us there. I'd love to talk to you guys about it. So I meant to say, Jacob, before I forgot, your home improvement sounds pretty cool. I hope you invite us over for some cigars and stuff down the road. To your fire pit. Some cigars, yeah. Maybe this fall when it tends to cool down a bit, just enjoy that fire pit. I haven't smoked a cigar in a long time. I'd love to share one with you.
I'd like that.
Yeah. I remember the last time I went and bought a cigar, me and Casey used to go get some every now and then. And I went in and I wasn't sure what I was in the mood for. I was like, I want you to suggest a line of cigars here that you really enjoy. And I'm looking for something middle of the road. Not too intense, not too little, just right in the middle. And he's like, all right, come this way, son. He's got the thick mustache. He's like, over here. He's like, I have one of these for breakfast every morning. It's these fat, thick ones. He said, it has it for breakfast every morning. I'm like, that sounds delicious. I'll take one. So,
was his mustache kind of yellowy?
I don't know. I can't remember, but he had a thick mustache and told me he had a cigar every morning for breakfast. I'm like, I like this guy.
Nutritious and healthy.
Yes.
I wonder if that's all he has for breakfast is his cigar.
Possibly that.
He literally eats the cigar.
That and some orange juice. Yeah. That'd be just awful.
Hey, you got to try everything once, right?
Yeah. My week, boys, was semi-interesting. I'll get to kind of the stuff that I played and watched, because we all play and watch things here. But an interesting story happened at work this week that I was not expecting would happen ever with me working at the place I work at. So I'll start from the beginning. For those of you that don't know, I'm on staff at a church in Kennesaw, Georgia, with audio and video stuff. So running live sound and making videos, blah, blah, that generic stuff. So it's Wednesday afternoon, and the college ministry is held on Wednesday nights where all college students and young adults come and kind of hang out and talk and blah, 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 and a band plays and everything. So I'm there running sound check with half of the band. So the lead vocalist shows up fashionably late, 10 minutes late. And he's like, hey guys, sorry, I was busy talking to a guy downstairs. There's this dude that had no shirt on that was trying to get in the building. And I asked him hey man, do you need some water or something? And he said yes. So, I just let him in to get some water. So I'm not thinking anything of it because we have a big basketball court at the church. So every now and then just some random kids from the apartment complex next door will come and shoot hoops, and we don't really care. It's fine. And every now and then they'll be like, hey, can we come get some water? And we're like, sure, just make it quick. Because, when the building's locked down, we're not technically supposed to let people in. So kids will come in and get water all the time. So I didn't think anything of this situation. He's like, yeah, he didn't have a shirt on me, and I just let him in. He said he wanted some water. So all right, whatever. So we're running sound check. Everything's fine. And one of the girls who's kind of there running lyrics for the night's like, I forgot I have to go grab something from downstairs. I'm like, all right, cool. So she leaves, and she's gone for 5 minutes. And all of a sudden, 5 minutes later, she comes running into the room where we're running sound check. And she's like, guys, stop it. And we're like, what is it? And she's like, that dude is downstairs in the green room rolling blunts right now. And we're like, what? And she's like, yeah, he's literally rolling blunts in the green room. We're like, and I'm thinking, this is hilarious. I'm like, what are the chances? And she's like, he's rolling blunts. And then Austin, who's the lead vocalist, he's like, all right. You come, he like points at the drums, like, you come with me. He's like, Garrett, you come with me. He like points at all the men in the room. He's like, all of you guys come with me. We got to go talk to this guy. So we all, in a herd, go downstairs. We go into the green room. Just the weed smell just hits you in the face. And we're like, holy crap. Walk in, this dude, shirtless, buzz cut, just in shorts and shoes, just literally licking a blunt. And there's weed all over the table, just all over the place. And we're like... Yeah. Holy crap. So Austin is like, dude, what are you doing? And the guy's like, and this is how you could tell the guy was effed up on something else. He would just repeat all the questions that we would ask him. He's like, dude, what are you doing? The guy was like, what the fuck are you doing, man? He's like, why are you all standing here? He's like, come on, take a seat, smoke with me. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, what is this? And he's like, dude, he's like, you can't smoke weed in here. This is a church and like people work here. And he's like, what did he say? He was like, dude, he's like, this is one of my favorite spots. I come here all the time. And I'm thinking, no way. I'm like, he says this is his favorite spot. And Austin's like, he's like, seriously, dude. He's like, you can stay. He's like, to be nice. He's like, this is a church. He's like, you can stay, but you can't smoke weed in here. He's like, if you're going to smoke the weed, you have to take it outside. The guy's like, no, you have to take it outside. What are you guys even doing here? Who are you people? And we're like, we work here. He's like, well, I work here. We're like, no, you don't. He's like, come on, quit he was kind of like the Joker in a way. He was like, quit freaking out. And he started laughing hysterically to himself and like look around the room. He's like, just sit down and smoke with me. Quit acting so weird. And we're not like being like, and it wasn't really much tension. We're all just standing there like kind of dumbfounded as to why this guy was doing this. So he goes, what's your name, man? What's your name? And Austin's like, I'm Austin. He's like, what's your name? And he goes, my name. And he starts looking around the room like for 10 seconds. He's like, you can call me Toby. And we're like, okay, Toby. He's like, yeah. He's like, seriously, Toby, if you don't leave, like, I'm gonna ask you one more time. If you don't leave, I'm gonna have to call the cops. I'm sorry. He's like, call the cops, do it. I don't give a shit. Just sit down and smoke. It's fine. Everything's fine. He's like, seriously, I'm giving you one last chance or I'm calling the cops. Toby's like, call them. So Austin picks up the phone and calls the cops. And he's like in the corner of the room. He's like, yeah, this guy calling himself Toby is just smoking weed in our green room. And he won't leave. And we'd really like him to leave, but he won't leave. So he gets off the phone. He's like, all right, they're on their way. Like, you should probably get out of here. And Toby's like, man, whatever. And he like leaves all of his weed, his like pipe, everything he had just on the table and just is smoking, leaving the green room. And he walks all the way down the hall. And we like had to lead him outside the building. And we get outside and he's just standing there smoking, just laughing at himself, just standing there. And we're like, so two of the guys are trying to be nice to him. Like, man, like, do you live around here? And he's like, do you live around here? And he start laughing and like walk a few steps away. And then he start mumbling and come back and stand there. And we're like, and one of the guys was like, do you have any friends? He's like, no, I don't have any friends. We're like, why? He's like, man, everyone hates me. And not to be mean, but in my head, I'm like, man, if you're acting like this towards everyone, I don't blame people if they don't like you. But again, for 10 minutes, he's just repeating half the questions we ask him and laughing. He'll start mumbling and just kind of like walk in circles and stuff. Still just smoking the whole time. And all of a sudden, 5 minutes after being outside, one of the assistant pastors is like getting into his car, like across the parking lot. And he's like, you can tell he's just looking like, what's happening over there? So one of the guys runs over to him real quick and kind of like explains what's going on. So you can tell like the assistant pastor's like, crap, I probably have to deal with this. So he's an older guy too. So he walks over. He's like, hey man, what's going on? The guy's like, what's going on with you, man? He's like, can we help you with anything? Do you need some help? He's like, no, do you need help? He's like, you want to hit this, man? It's like he's like, it's ready for you when you want it. And the pastor's like, no, I mean, I appreciate the offer, but I'm good for now. So after all said and done, we're standing with this guy, still acting like a total weirdo. Austin, who's the lead vocalist of the band that night, he's like, you guys can go ahead and just go finish sound check. I think everything's fine. We're just gonna wait on the cop to get here. We don't want to start late. I'm like, all right. So me and the rest of the band
startle him like he's some like animal you're trying to keep there.
Yeah, he was really weird. But we're like, okay, we'll go finish sound check. So we go upstairs and we do our thing, and like I go over to just check the window every now and then, and finally I see the cop shows up, and this is how bold Toby was, quote unquote Toby. The cop is standing there talking to Austin, and Toby is 10 feet away just smoking weed right in front of the cop, right in front of him. So the cop's talking to him, and I didn't see what happened because at that point I didn't really care. I'm like, the cop will deal with it. So long story short, the cop, it took the cops 45 minutes to get there. 45 minutes. Now, the guy wasn't really it wasn't like he was a threat or anything.
45 minutes.
It wasn't like a threat, but when you tell a cop, like, yeah, someone's smoking weed in our building, and they're like technically trespassing, even though we did let the guy in, but still, he was basically trespassing. The guy's like, on the phone, they're like, all right, we'll send someone out. 45 minutes later, the cop gets here. The first question he asked Austin was, so do you want me to just like make him leave? And we're like, yes. So I didn't see what happened. I went out there 10 minutes later, and the cop and the guy were gone. So I'm assuming either the guy, if he's bold enough to smoke in front of the cop, I'm assuming he's bold enough to just get in the cop car and not care. But apparently the cop dealt with the situation and he was gone. But I thought that was so bizarre.
No, where did all the weed and stuff?
Oh, funniest thing. So the cop was like talking to the guy, because the guy had like walked across the parking lot, was just sitting there. The cop was talking to him, and Austin went to grab like a bag of weed, like I don't know if you're watching the video, you can see it's like the size of like a football. It's like how much weed is in this bag. He comes out.
That's so much.
I know. He comes out and there's like a pipe, and he just brings it out all in his hand. He's like, hey dude, you forgot your stuff inside. And he sits it on the cop's car and just walks inside. So I'm assuming all was taken care of, but it was so weird because what are the chances of all that happening inside the church? But yeah. I felt bad for the guy too, because I don't know what his deal is. And another question he asked, I left out, I forgot. He asked us at one point, he's like, do you guys know someone who can sell me every single drug in existence at one time? I was like, no, I'll check my contacts in my phone, but I don't know if I know anyone currently. But poor guy, I don't know what his problem was. Hopefully he gets the help he needs, but he had serious issues, and it was just so weird that happened. It was just a very exciting afternoon.
That's funny. I think it's also worth mentioning that marijuana is illegal still in Georgia. So
yes, it is. Yeah.
Many states in the U.S. It is legal.
And my only assumption is the fact that weed very slowly is becoming legal in several states. It's maybe, I'm sure there's still the cops that are like crazy about keeping it illegal and stuff, but this cop seemed like he just did not care that much. He was
probably
just
took it home.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I got to deal with this guy.
It seems like that guy was not previously. That's not why he was acting like that. That sounds like he was on something else.
He had to have been. Yeah, it was weird. But poor Toby. It's obviously not his real name. But poor guy. It was just an interesting story, because ever since I left SMS, I haven't really had any funny stories, but that one was so weird, and I never expected that would happen. So it was a very interesting day at work, to say the least. It made the day a little more interesting. But yeah, other than work, I played a couple of things. Played some Overwatch with Jacob, some Lucio Ball. I am awful at it. So bad.
Are you better at Lucio Ball than you are at Rocket League?
No.
Okay.
I actually scored once in Rocket League. I've only played Rocket League twice. I played it in our one Let's Play we did forever ago, and then I played it when we were at Zach's in Florida for a little bit.
We ought to play some Rocket League again.
Yeah, Now, when we played, even though I was bad, it was very fun. I was like, man, I forgot how just awesome this game is. So
I'm pretty sure we all have it, right? Did we all download it?
I have it on Xbox One.
You don't have it on PS4?
I swear you do. You don't?
You get it for free?
Oh, maybe it's in my like library. I could re-download it. I haven't checked, but was I the one that downloaded it the one time we did the Let's Play? I think I did. Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I remember. So I assume I have it, yeah. But I would like to play that every now and then because it's fun. But Lucio Ball, man, I suck at it. It was fun. It's really cool that they added it, but I was awful. But it was fun playing with Jacob. Did you enjoy it, Jacob?
Practice. Yeah, I like playing it. I'm not good either, but I enjoy it, especially when I have good teammates.
Yeah.
I played some Overwatch this week.
Oh, really? By yourself?
Myself? Yes.
Man, why didn't you tell us?
It was like...
It's because you hate us, right?
That, and it was like Wednesday morning, like just some random time, and I only played like 3 matches, and I lost every single one of them, like, horribly. Like, we didn't have a chance in hell.
It's because you didn't have me and Jacob with you.
Yeah, probably. But people are really bad. And not that I'm like good per se, but people are really awful.
That's the thing, like quick plays become a, just screw around playground, I guess.
Like 3 tracers in a match.
Right.
Like,
so
wow,
annoying.
really?
Yeah.
And they're like level 30s.
Hey, maybe they're making a YouTube video.
Maybe.
Could be.
Just like what's the title? Like, Watch Us Lose as 3 Tracers. Like,
maybe probably an accurate title. Yeah, that's cool. Well, at the very least, did you enjoy yourself?
It was fun. I just, it's really hard to have fun in that game if you literally can't even like leave your spawn without just getting destroyed because, like I said, everybody was a tracer. There was like 4 Genjis one match. And I'm like trying to be, helpful as like a Lucio or something, and I can't keep all of them healed because they're all
over the
Genjis
place.
like, flying around everywhere. So it's just a disaster. So it's kind of hard to have fun, when all that's going on, when the other team is actually, working together. So you literally can't do anything.
Yeah. When I get in lobbies like that, I try to just focus on me, like do as best as I can.
Yeah.
Like,
I try to play
if I
as
get
like,
myself destroyed.
Yeah, like I said, I couldn't even leave my spawn. So I tried to play as like Ana for a little bit for the first time. And
how do you like her?
I can't really say because, like I said, I couldn't do anything. Everybody was Genji, so I couldn't heal anybody because they're doing flips everywhere and stuff.
Trying to hit tracers is a nightmare.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, even though I lose more than I win in Overwatch, I still, to an extent, enjoy myself just because it's a really fun game. Yeah. Lucio Ball, we lost more than we won, but the times we did win, I really just took up space in the field. I don't even recall actually hitting the ball even relatively near the goal half the time. So, but it was fun regardless. And you and I played some GTA cunning stunts. That was enjoyable. That's been really fun for me because whenever I have like 30 minutes to kill or sometimes like, even though it takes 30 minutes to load up Grand Theft Auto 5, I noticed when I got on today before I came and got you, when the game's loading, you can pick online. Well, you can also pick just go straight to stunt racing. And when I picked that, I got into a lobby that was completely full for racing. I was like, that's awesome. So I didn't play it because I was going to just stall and like do that race when I saw a full lobby and then come get you. It's like, oh, wow, this never happens. But then I saw it was like a muscle car race, which I don't enjoy as much. So Jacob played and he said he fell off the side of the ramp and couldn't figure out how to respawn.
I haven't played GTA in so long I didn't remember how to respawn.
So he just like sat down there.
Spamming like every button, like going back to the menu.
That's so funny.
And by the time I actually figured it out, everyone would like lap me. So
what a nightmare. But yeah, I love cunning stunts a lot. Like I was talking to actually Edgar in the comments of our cunning stunts video. Like that is what has brought me back to GTA, at least for the time being. Also exciting, you may or may not have already seen this, but the creator mode of stunt racing is in the game as well now, so people can create custom tracks. Because that means there's going to be just infinite crazy tracks to race on. And that's, like I said, GTA Online specifically is what I loved most, was the racing, because it's the most fun I've had in a racing game out of all the racing games I've ever played. It's just, I don't know why, it's just a ton of fun. And cunning stunts is awesome because I used to love the Hot Wheels stuff when I was a kid, and this kind of feels like that. And just flying through the skies and like crashing cars and falling down buildings is super fun. So the fact that people can create their own tracks has me really excited. So I'm pumped to experience some of those. But maybe I may or may not create one myself because, like I've said, even though Minecraft, I never felt like I was accomplishing anything. The things I did enjoy about it was just building something, and I loved building the stuff in Fallout. Even the update that was in Skyrim that isn't obviously as in-depth as the creator stuff in Fallout 4, but where you could like build your house. Anything that has to do with building something I've always enjoyed, so I may or may not try to build a fun track in GTA, but GTA was fun. You and I both played Telltale's Batman Episode 1, Realm of Shadows. Now, we don't want to spoil it. We may or may not, if we have time at some point, just kind of do like a spoiler review of Episode 1. I think that'd be fun, because there's a lot of fun stuff to talk about, but overall, did you enjoy it?
Yes. I thought it was fun.
Yeah, it's everything so far. There's a couple minor things that bug me, but overall, it's exactly like what I was hoping it would be so far. Because, like I said, I didn't realize this is the kind of Batman game I wanted until it was announced. Because after Arkham Knight, I'm like, man, that's really fun, but like, I've done so much of the Arkham-style gameplay that I'd be interested in trying something new. And this is totally like that. Like, the combat, I think, is cool. I mean, even though it is quick-time events, it works for the style of game it is, obviously, it being very cinematic and stuff. So, and this is my first Telltale experience. I've been aware of, like, Walking Dead and Game of Thrones and Tales from the Borderlands, blah, 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 all their other projects, but this has been the first one that I, like, really, really wanted to play. And I'm loving it. I love all the decisions that are, and I love how all of them are timed, dude. It isn't just like, wait all day and then make your decision. It's like you have like 10 seconds or less to like pick how you're going to respond, which I think is cool, and it keeps the pace up and keeps you like, the tension is there.
Yeah, that's like in all Telltale games.
So that's what I like, and my Bruce Wayne, I won't spoil anything, but I'm playing very much like Christopher Nolan's Bruce Wayne, how he's just kind of like cocky as Bruce Wayne. Like, not like a total asshole, but like he's just blatantly arrogant to like just kind of take on the role of like Bruce Wayne being like, there's no way that guy could be Batman because he's kind of an arrogant rich douchebag in a way. Then I used kind of the line when you show up to your fundraiser for Harvey Dent at the beginning, kind of how he does in Dark Knight. Or maybe it was Batman Begins when he shows up and he's like, hope you all are enjoying my booze, they're super expensive. Like, that's basically the line I used when I showed up to the event. They're like, and Bruce Wayne's in the house. I was like, everyone enjoy the wine, it's super expensive. So that's kind of the Batman I'm going for. And many times I could show mercy, I would, but I was always trying to be as scary as possible without like brutally like hurting someone. So I'm really enjoying it. I like getting to play my own version of Batman and my own version of Bruce Wayne. And that's one of the things I loved about Arkham Origins was the fact that you could go to and from the Batcave. And one of the DLC for Mr. Freeze or Arkham Origins, which I never played, but I watched an entire walkthrough. My favorite part of that is how you started out as Bruce Wayne and your Wayne Manor gets attacked and you kind of have to sneak through Wayne Manor and make your way to the Batcave to get to your suit. I thought that was super cool. And I've always wanted to explore more of the Bruce Wayne stuff in Batman, and this has been exactly what I hoped it'd be, where like, and similar to the Arkham games where you get to a crime scene, you kind of have to analyze it, but I really like the detective stuff of Batman, because even in the Arkham games, there was definitely more combat than there was detective stuff, which is fine, and it works for those games, but I really wanted to really take on the role of, you know, the world's greatest detective in this game, and even going back to the Batcomputer and analyzing stuff there is super cool. So, and story-wise, I'm not going to spoil it, but I love kind of like the twist they've put on Bruce Wayne's parents and Alfred and everything. I think it really makes things interesting for Bruce Wayne. So overall, I absolutely loved episode 1, and I'm super pumped going forward for the episodes. I bought the season pass. Did you buy it?
No.
Okay.
I was a cheap ass and just paid the $5.
Okay, yeah.
I think it all ends. I think I was going to buy this one, and then just when September comes out, I was going to buy the physical.
When September ends?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. The song.
Yeah. Well, that depends. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I would like the physical. So I highly doubt that the second episode is going to be out in
That's
September.
what I was thinking.
So
yeah,
instead of buying the season pass digital, I'm going to stick to me buying physical things and buy that instead.
Yeah,
so.
I think I'm going to play the whole thing digitally.
Aren't you
Dare
cool?
I say, yeah.
A man of the future, huh?
Yeah, but I will say, I've always been aware of people complaining about the technical performance of Telltale's games, but I could definitely see that in this game. I've heard that it's improved since their older stuff, but even then, like, this game was still chugging in some spots. It was like, this isn't that intense of a... I mean, I don't know, like we've said, I don't know what goes into developing any game.
Well, I just think their engine's not that good.
Right.
And this is like an upgrade too. I mean, I thought it looked nice.
Oh yeah, it looks fine. It's just sometimes it still like chugs a bit.
Yeah.
So
I thought I was thinking while you were talking how to like phrase this. It's just weird playing a Batman game where this is so hard for me to explain. Everything we've ever seen, like in comics, movies, the Arkham trilogy and stuff, it's like you watch Batman and you know that he's always got it under control. Like you always know he's got something up his sleeve. He's always going to overcome and stuff. And it's just interesting to actually make the choices yourself for a character who you've always like looked up to as like somebody being like ridiculously smart and stuff. And you can like make him say some kind of like, in my opinion, like some dumb, things that just don't feel Batman-y at all. So that's just kind of, weird and like cool at the same time though. So, because I think I accidentally said something that I read it a particular way, but he said it a different way. And I was like, ooh, that does not sound like something Bruce Wayne would say at all. So, but yeah. It's fun.
It is.
I'm definitely excited for the second episode. I liked it more than I thought I would, because after this one ended, I was like, ooh, I kind of want to play the second one like right now. Yeah. So
that's the only other gripe. I know that's what Telltale does, that they do it in episodes. Like it isn't a gripe to say where I'm like, it pisses me off, man. But I wish, like you said, I could play it immediately. That's the only thing where I'm like, man, I wish I could just blaze through it. But it's all good. I
totally would probably binge the entire thing if it was, if I would have waited till the end.
Totally. Yeah, I think that Jacob said he's probably going to do that until he plays it. So I respect that completely. I wish I had self-control like that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I watched Breaking Bad. I binged the entire series up until like...
You binged it in like less than 2 weeks, didn't you?
Less than 1 week.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Is there enough hours in a week to watch the whole thing?
I think... I didn't watch the entire series. It was up until like season 5, I think. I watched it up till. But Yeah, some of those, the way those episodes end, I don't see how I could have waited till next week. So it's not like there wasn't that much of a cliffhanger, but I definitely, love binging and stuff. Just like everybody else that watches Netflix and stuff. So, but
I'm not huge on binging. Like, I can't watch more than like 3 or 4 episodes at a time.
That's how Casey is.
I have to take a break.
I love blazing through stuff.
I can go all day, man.
I just feel like I'm just rotting away, just sitting in the same spot.
See, and then when it's over after you binge, you're like, you don't know who you are anymore. For like a few hours, you're like, where am I?
I watched the Stranger Things with me and my mom. It's my mom.
You and your mom watch the whole thing?
My mom loves the 80s, and people were telling her, like, oh, super 80s. She's not really into the can I say, like, supernatural? Not spoil anything? She's not into, like, the supernatural alien type of thing. So she really didn't like that aspect of it. She just liked the time period a lot. So that's the only reason she was really watching it. That really doesn't have anything to do with my main point here.
But you binged through it, right?
I wanted to. We would watch like 3 episodes, and I was ready to go on 4. And Mom was like, "I'm too tired and stuff. And I have to wait. I have to wait for her. I don't want to like leave her behind and stuff." So
that happened when season 1 of Daredevil came out. I was so looking forward to it. And I know Zach was too, but Zach typically doesn't blaze through stuff either. And when we started watching Daredevil, we'd watch like 2 episodes. He's like, all right, that's enough for me tonight. And I'd be like, ugh. Like, which is fine. Like, I lived, but I think it took us almost a month to watch season 1 of Daredevil, and it drove me insane because I wanted to finish it.
I've still only seen the 6 episodes from that show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I like binged it for like 6 episodes, and I never got back to it.
Go back to it.
Yeah, I love season 1. Season 2 was fine. It wasn't like much better than season 1. I look forward to see what they do next, but that show's really awesome.
I want to watch that. House of Cards
Man in the High Castle
so
good
as well.
Man in the High Castle's good too.
Yeah,
season 1 was great. It did not end the way I expected it to.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Back to video games really quick. I also played over 40 hours of Neverwinter.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What?
I'm
Nerd.
Like up to, I think I'm almost like to max level. I'm pretty sure.
That's amazing. Now, is that the one we played on Xbox One briefly?
Yeah, for some reason there's literally nothing else to play, so I was just like, I'll play this, and it like, I don't mean stranded, but I was stuck at my girlfriend's house, and she doesn't have cable or anything, and she works from home, so, and she works like 8 or 9 hours from home every day, so I'm just stuck there, so I was going.
Wish I could work from home every day. That's my dream.
I was going through my stuff. And I really wasn't interested, and I saw I had that downloaded, so I just started mindlessly playing that, and I'd like look up, and it's like 6 o'clock at night, and I was like, wow, that was pretty fast. So I just started doing that day after day after day, and I don't know if I'm going to go back to it. I'm kind of tired out, because I literally played so much. I put some money into it, too. I think I put like $20 into it, which I think for the amount of time I played it is justifiable. But there are these like lock boxes you get, and you have to open them with keys, and there's like a really high chance, or not a high chance, there's a chance you can get a super high quality like mount, like this griffin with like armor on, and you'll be playing it, and there'll like be a notification that somebody got that out of the box. So it's like really, like makes you want to be like, wow, I want my name to go up there. So you like buy these keys, and it's like 5 keys for $1 a key. So I spent like $15 on keys and opened 15 boxes and I got some good materials and stuff to upgrade my gear, but unfortunately the Griffin was not mine, so I spent $5 and bought a black horse instead. Wow. So
a black horsey, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Does it kind of look like Shadowmere?
Kind, I guess. He doesn't have like purple eyes or anything, but yeah. I like the combat.
What class did you go with this time?
I was the two-handed swordsman.
Okay.
So I never really play as. I'm always like a sword and shield
So is it like a warrior
sword
class?
and shield?
Yeah, it's called like a great weapon warrior or something like that. I'm totally forgetting.
Great weapon warrior.
Yeah, but I don't think I'm a tank because none of my skills really get people to attack me. So I'm not really sure what I am. So.
Wow.
That's it.
That sounds awesome.
It was fun. Thank you very much.
I'm sure it was
had fun. And you get trophies too. I got a few trophies, and platinuming the game, there's one trophy that nobody has, and I feel like it would take literally years to get. You have to kill 1,000 dragons.
1,000?
1,000 dragons. Which
1
there's
million troops.
There's trophies with killing like 1,000 skeletons and stuff, and 1,000 lizard men.
I feel like in an MMO that really isn't a lot.
I already have those.
Okay.
But the dragons are not little fodder enemies.
Yeah.
They are
like raid bosses.
They're freaking bosses, field bosses and stuff, and it takes like 15 minutes to kill one.
Sounds like hell.
And I'm like, I don't think there's been enough time since the game's released to even for anybody to have that. That would take, you know, because there's this one boss, his name's like Cyrax. They call him, like, in the chat, they call him like Charmander because his name's kind of spelled the same.
Yeah.
But he spawns like every 20 minutes or something.
Wow. And
people are just, waiting around for him to spawn, and he spawns and he goes down in like, 5 to 10 minutes, and people just sit there and wait for him. And it's like, wow, that trophy would take. Well, they're farming coins or you get from them and stuff, and there's like a.
But if you're pursuing the trophy, that would suck.
Yeah, and every other trophy seemed completely feasible except that one.
Yeah,
and I was like, that one's gonna keep me from getting the platinum right there.
I hate when there's a trophy like that, because the few games that I do see that I'm like, oh wow, I can platinum this and won't be too bad. Sometimes there's that one trophy that just sucks. Yeah, kind of like in Fallout 4 with the 100% settlement happiness or whatever. Yeah. I think everyone on Earth hated that trophy.
At least you can get that one in a day.
Right.
This one literally requires
like a portion of your life.
Yeah, like or at least there's no trick or like way around it. You literally just have to sit there and just do it for weeks.
Right.
So not going to do that. And of course, you know how my brain works. The second I calculated that in my brain, I immediately was like, oh, and I put the controller down. I was like, this isn't happening. Oh, man. So I think that's what...
it's always a sad moment.
Yeah, I think that's what gave me the strength to I'm like, yeah, dude, I can platinum this thing. Yeah. And I saw, like I said, all the other kill 1,000 things. I was knocking those out. I was like, oh, I'm sure I'll come upon a little dragon flying around with his little wings or something, and I'll take him out in a few slashes. As far as I know, that doesn't exist. Maybe that's once I hit the top level. But hopefully, if that's the case, the platinum is feasible. Yeah. But anyways,
well, I wish you the best of luck and good fortune.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, two MMOs that I wish I had invested more time in were Star Wars: The Old Republic and DC Universe Online, because those two MMOs are two of my favorite things. Because in DC, obviously DC superheroes are cool alone, but the fact that you can create your own superheroes, like every kid's dream. And I would go into that game and just create a bunch of superheroes that I'd never play as, just because I thought it was fun making them. But the brief amount of time you and I played that, which by brief I think it was a few months.
Level. We got to level 30.
Yeah, I never did any of the end game stuff, but
I did for a week. I was really into it. I had I had raid gear and stuff.
Yeah,
I looked freaking awesome. And then I just stopped playing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really liked creating my own hero or villain, whatever it might be, and running around in the city and stuff. I thought that was a lot of fun. But Old Republic as well was just an absolute blast. I think I've talked about it briefly before, but just being able to start out as a Jedi Padawan and becoming a Jedi Knight and going out on missions. And me and Zach would just go onto Star Destroyers and take out the bad guys and stuff and fight Sith Lords. It's just always so exciting because it brought your Star Wars fantasies to life. So I didn't get to invest much time in that either because I was borrowing my sister's laptop when I played it, and when she went to college I had to give it back, unfortunately. So that's where my Jedi Knight journey ended. But two of those were great.
They need to put that on console.
I know. I was saying that the whole time I was playing. Cool. I was like, I would give anything to play this on console because it really was a fun game. It never felt like I was having to grind too much or anything. And I love the dialogue options that BioWare has in their games, and even in an MMO like that, it was fun. And it was cool when you were playing with a buddy in the same party. Like me and Zach both had dialogue options. Sometimes they'd refer to him, sometimes they refer to me, and depending on what we said would shape the conversation. So sometimes we do good cop, bad cop. I'd be the douchebag and he'd be the nice one. It was funny. But yeah, that game was a lot of fun. But in addition to that stuff this week, I played a little bit of Prince of Persia Revelations, which I still like to refer to as Warrior Within on Vita. Because I downloaded it for free. Obviously, it was free last month, and it's been super cool. I'm still near the beginning, but I just remember the memories I have with that game, and it's one of my favorite Prince of Persia games, easily.
Are you still playing Persona 4?
I am a little bit, yeah. Literally once every couple of weeks, I'll play an hour of it.
I saw a advertisement on Facebook showing I think it was thinkgeek.com or something, and they had a Persona, a Junist shirt.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I was like...
That'd be awesome.
I would get that, but I did not.
That jingle gets stuck in my head all the time. Yeah. Yeah, Persona's cool too, but Revelations is awesome just because I still think the story of that game is really cool. How, like at the end of Prince of Persia 1, he thinks that he solves all the problems by turning back time as if he never opened the sands, but the Dahaka, which is the guardian of time, he still realizes that he opened them. It's like whoever opens the sands has to die. So you guys know like the Dahaka, the Dahaka chasing after him the whole game, which I think is cool.
It's that big black thing, right?
It's like a big demon thing, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's chasing after him the whole game. That's cool. And he goes to the birthplace of the sands to just kind of destroy like the source, which I think is really cool. And I like how it's Warrior Within fits the game, I think, because he's just
like we're saying like the big black Dakaka.
Dakaka. the Dakaka. That's pretty much what it sounds like. Dahaka. Not Kaka, Haka. But I just like how he had like an assassin after him the whole game, and he goes to like where the sands were made and has to go back and forth through time to kind of destroy him. And I liked it was a much darker take too, and it was more violent. And the soundtrack is awesome because it's all metal.
I played like 90% of that game on my iPhone.
On your iPhone?
Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive.
It was ported to iPhone.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy it on your iPhone?
I remember getting really frustrated at parts because the controls and the
I can only
platforming
imagine.
and stuff were super
like how I don't even know where to even begin to think how
I
it
got
would work.
really far in the game though.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I remember, have you fought any of those big dudes you like jump on the back yet?
Yeah, not yet.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I remember fighting. I had to fight like 4 of those guys. Like, so.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Anything else, Jacob?
I have one
You've
other
been
thing.
so talkative.
Yeah.
Yeah. How's Pokemon?
It's fine. I mean, I bought it because I was going on a trip.
Pokemon Y, correct?
Yeah, Pokemon Y. I bought the new 3DS, which is a nice device.
The new 3DS.
It's just new.
Any
Okay.
SNES?
I get those confused.
Any SNES games have you bought?
Yes. No,
Yes.
I've only played
I would go to
Pokemon
town
Y.
on those if
Yeah.
I had a 3DS.
But I do want to play Link soon.
Which
What?
one?
I want to play Legends of Link soon.
Legends of Link. The Super Nintendo one? Like A
Yes.
Link to the Past?
No,
Is that what you mean?
I don't know what Zeldas are on the 3DS, but I'm gonna check it out. And
Oh,
probably
on the
get one.
3D, not the Super Nintendo.
No.
Okay, there is A Link Between Worlds, which is kind of like a sequel-ish type of game to A Link to the Past, which is the Super Nintendo Zelda game.
Is the Minish Cap on there?
That's Game Boy Advance.
That's what I thought.
You have Ocarina of Time 3D and Majora's Mask 3D.
I might do Ocarina of Time.
You should.
Yes, I would.
That's what
I
I beat it
do
on.
know that Majora's Mask 3D does incorporate the little nub stick thing
I don't
to
like
rotate
the, nub.
the camera.
I haven't used it yet, but I don't like how
So-
it feels.
You might like it, Jacob.
Yeah.
The little
So,
nub.
Yeah. It's really stiff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know how it would.
I haven't heard
function.
any complaints about it, though. Maybe you should. I have. Whoa, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare you. I have Majora's Mask in Garrett's, the 2DS I'm letting him borrow.
Yeah, it's like
So-
across the hall.
You could stick it in and see how the C-stick serves you.
I should.
So, unfortunately, I don't have Ocarina of Time 3D because I could not find it at a GameStop. So I had to digitally download it, which is why digital downloading sucks because I can't let my friends borrow it.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
It's a fair argument.
It is.
But yeah, really enjoying the 3DS. Played more Overwatch this week. I'm trying to play as much Overwatch as I can before games start coming out because it's the summer seasonal event, and I
Right.
want to get some of the skins.
Isn't
But,
like No Man's Sky coming out like when next week?
I think it's the day after this goes up, right?
Is it? Already?
Is it this week?
I think so.
I don't
The
know.
day I have to help
Look it
people
up.
Does it
move?
come out August 9th? I think it does.
Does it really?
I think so.
Dude. We could be wrong. We better find out. Preston's on the hunt.
And I'm really not that excited for it.
I wouldn't say I'm like pumped, but I'm very interested to
I'm
try it.
excited.
I'm not like,
I'm
oh my gosh, but I'm like, I'm going to play that game.
I'm
I've been
interested.
going back and forth like I'm not, I am, I'm not. So, I don't know.
I'm interested to see. Yeah, August 9th.
Wow. Man.
It has finally come.
Wow.
Of course, I have so much to do on Tuesday.
Yeah. As do I. I have a busy week ahead of me, unfortunately. That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited to kind of talk about it with you guys and the community because I know like the whole world's just I'm not saying all of us are thinking this, but it seems like a majority of the people on the internet think this is like the second coming.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I'm definitely interested to see the reviews, like
Right.
when that embargo lifts, like what the general like consistency is going to be.
I'm going to predict
with
it's
this
going to be
thing.
between like a 6 and a 7.
Really?
I'm going to predict that.
I'm going to say
Mine's an 8.
I'm gonna say 8, 7, 8ish.
Okay.
Around there. I feel like it's just a victim of its own hype. People, like you said, people think that it's literally Jesus reincarnated in a video game. So yeah, I think people have kind of. I think I'm fine because I never let my expectations, get too big.
Same with me.
Because I still don't really even know what it is. I know you just like explore, and that's all I've thought of it as is just I'm gonna explore some stuff. So yeah.
I'll never forget the first time we saw the trailer for that game. I think it was VGX that year when we first saw the trailer. And I remember thinking like, whoa, that looks amazing. I think everyone thought that. That's the reason why the hype built up so much for us, because the initial trailer like really intrigued everyone. But the more I've seen from it, like we know, it's just like, oh, it looks pretty cool. So I guess we'll just see what happens. But that's cool that it comes out tomorrow.
It excites me to just get it in a spaceship and just fly out in outer space and like just go somewhere else. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
That sounds fun enough. Did you hear that it took like a guy 30 hours of playing to reach the center of the universe?
I did hear that, yeah.
So yeah, it's not as expansive as I thought. So
crickets.
I thought you were gonna do the transition.
I bet there will be like a speed run up in like 2 days after release. It's like someone reached the center of the universe in an hour or something.
Yeah, just kind of like I remember when Dishonored was released, people were like, Dishonored's only 2 hours long, and like you look at the gameplay, this guy's like literally sprinting past everybody just to get to the end. Somebody's gonna do that with this game. Just
couldn't you arguably just like fly towards the center of the universe and just not stop?
I don't know. Maybe
I don't think you know which way it is.
Yeah, maybe I bet like what I've read, you probably have to have like fuel and like certain things to get past certain parts. Maybe that'd be cool. And so you can't just fly there. You kind of have to inhabit other planets to like find supplies to continue. That'd be kind of cool. So I know there's like various space stations and stuff, but we'll see what happens.
When the VR update comes out, I'll probably play it more.
Yeah, that's what we're all waiting for. Before we go into the news, there's only one other thing I wanted to briefly talk about. No spoilers here, but I watched The Killing Joke, and it was great overall.
Really?
The only thing I'll say, I'm not going to spoil it. I mean, I'm sure people are aware there's like that have any interest in the movie. If you have or have not seen it, or at least read about it, there is an extra like half an hour at the beginning that involves Batgirl, and I didn't dislike it. It was just kind of strange to me, and I think to an extent it was a bit unnecessary. Now,
are you talking about the rooftop thing?
Yes.
Everybody knows about that.
Well, just in case, there might be someone out there that doesn't want it spoiled. But there is like a weird thing that involves Batgirl at the beginning of the first half hour. Now, for the most part, I enjoyed everything leading up to that part, and I didn't dislike it. I wasn't like disgusted by it. I was just like, oh, that's kind of strange, but whatever. Because everything after that was awesome, because this is exactly how the comic is.
Yeah, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
One reviewer I listened to said that the first 30 minutes are pretty unnecessary. They have nothing to do with The Killing Joke.
Right, yeah. No, as far as the whole story, yes, but I think their only purpose in this was to build up Batgirl's character in an attempt to make you care more about what happens to her in the comic, because in the comic it's just like she shows up for a second and then the incident happens, and that's like the rest you hear of Batgirl the entire time, so it's very brief. And I think their only attempt, there was probably two reasons. People make good points. They said, one, they wanted this to be able to go into theaters at least for a day, which they did do, and I think in order to get it in the theater it has to reach a certain amount of time, so they got it to like a little over an hour doing that. So that might have been one of the reasons, but the other reason is what I like to think is that they just wanted to build up her character a bit more to make that moment that happens to her more impactful. Now, what they did to make that more impactful, I think, could have been done better. Like, I thought it was just kind of bizarre the way they handled that. But for the most part, it was fine. Like, it didn't ruin or take away anything from the movie for me. But overall, all the Killing Joke stuff was awesome. Like, were you going to say something?
Well, I'm just the only thing I've seen, and I'm not just saying this because I heard somebody else say it, but I thought about it from the beginning. I know we had talked about the animation things. Like, for some reason, you were saying, like, the clips on YouTube weren't as good as, like, the actual footage in the movie and stuff. But Batman's cowl annoys the crap out of me.
Yeah, it does look weird.
It's like, it comes up, and then it, like, goes out like a freaking...
Because I was wondering, I haven't reread this since I first read it the first time, but I was wondering if in the comic his ears are kind of out like that.
It doesn't look like it.
They kind of are. Let me get closer, and there's the part. Let me see. 1 second. I apologize to everyone who's listening or watching. I just want to confirm something here. They kind of are right there. Now in the animation they're a little more exaggerated than that, but they kind of do like they're going out a little bit. But Yeah, I thought that was kind of an interesting design. Maybe they're like, we need to make this look different than everything else to make it stand out. I don't know. But still, if you guys are interested in reading this, it's really good. Or just watch the movie. It's the same thing. But overall, I thought it was really cool. I mean, like people have said, the dialogue being adapted from the comic to the movie, the way some of the lines are delivered, especially from Batman, can be a kind of weird. But overall, it was really cool because I love Kevin Conroy's Batman, and Mark Hamill, of course, always kills it as Joker. And just hearing their voices and the animation brought it more to life for me.
Not to not be spoilery, do you like the ending?
I do like the ending. It's actually that's the reason why initially the only reason I read it a couple of years ago is because it had been so renowned for decades at this point. I'm like, man, I really need to read this because I love Batman. Read it, and I thought the ending was awesome because I don't want to spoil it either because there's some people that have never even heard this probably, but the ending is very cool. It's just not what you'd expect. And there's a lot of theories surrounding the end that we can talk about later, but I thought it was really cool. And I thought the animation, like I said, watching it, I was like, this looks a lot better than the initial trailers did, which I was happy about. But it's just a great Batman Joker story. And it's mostly a Joker story for sure, but I always enjoy Joker stuff, and I loved it. So I liked the comic a lot, and the movie was good. So if you haven't already seen it and you're interested, I definitely suggest it. Like I said, if you're a fan of Batman and you're familiar with like most of the lore, the Batgirl stuff can be a little weird at the beginning, but I got over it. So overall, it was cool, and it was worth the price on iTunes because now I have it forever. I can watch it whenever. So that's my 2 cents. But that's it for me this week. You guys have anything else?
Nope.
Bring us in, Preston.
Hey man, what's the news?
Thanks.
Thanks for
Preston.
butchering it last week.
I thought Jacob did a great job bringing us in.
So
last week.
Anybody
It was
that
too
says
funny.
it but me can't say it correctly.
You're right. It's
I had to
it's
replace you.
tagline.
Yeah,
I could
you
see,
did.
"Hey man, what's the news?" on a T-shirt. It'd be pretty stupid, like
Yeah.
it is already, but I'd wear it on my chest.
We'll do a Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Start it up.
Well, there wasn't a ton of stuff that happened this week, but there's a few little tidbits that are exciting. So I already mentioned GTA Stunt Race Creator is out. I'm excited about that. Inside was announced for PS4. It's coming Tuesday, August 23rd. Does it get you guys excited at all?
I
Yes.
wish I wouldn't have accepted the fact that I was never going to play it and just spoil everything for myself.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, Preston.
I just know the ending, so I don't
Is there
know.
a platinum for it? Do you know? I guess I know the trophies were released
I don't
before.
think there is. I
Okay.
don't think so.
I'm
I
playing
do know
it
that the
regardless.
trophies are just like collectible stuff. It's nothing like crazy.
Right.
But I'll still probably maybe play it. I think it comes out around Deus Ex time before, maybe. I think
it comes out maybe a week before.
Okay.
Maybe the same day. I can't remember. It comes out on
it's
the
the same
23rd.
day. Then there's no way I'm playing it.
Right.
If
Yeah,
it's
I'm
a week
going-
before, I'll probably play it.
I'm gonna play it. It's just who knows when that's gonna happen.
I'm gonna play it when it comes out. I think
Yeah.
because if it's a week, like I'm hoping, if it's a week before Deus Ex, and obviously it's coming out after No Man's Sky, I think that's the perfect time to just knock it out really quick.
Well, they made it out like this was some big Microsoft PC exclusive thing, like debuting the game at the Microsoft
You okay over there?
excuse me E3 conference and like all that stuff. So I just assumed that PlayStation wouldn't be seeing this for a while. So I just, everybody's talking about it now. So I was bored. I thought I'd listen to some, spoiler casts and stuff about it. So, oh well.
Man,
Yeah.
that's okay. It happens. But I'm definitely playing it. I'm very interested in playing it. All the reviews have been great, and even the ones that have said like, "Oh, it's good. It's just not as good as everyone's saying it is." That I still want to play it because I think it looks really cool. And the brief amount of time I played Limbo, I enjoyed that, and I've heard that's very similar to Limbo. So, and I've heard it's just a crazy story too in the game. So, can you kind of vouch for that? Is it pretty wild?
The ending sounds extremely weird, even with context.
Really?
So yeah.
Okay.
So
Well, that's good enough
if
for
you,
me.
You don't know anything.
No, nothing.
Yeah, then you're gonna be like, "What the f is going on?"
Yeah, that seems
So,
to be everyone's response to the ending, so it has me very intrigued. But that's pretty cool that's coming to PS4 so soon, so I'm excited. Out now, we got Doom's Unto Evil DLC, which includes 3 new maps, armor sets, weapons, equipment, the Harvester Demon, and a new party play system.
Looks sweet.
It
Did you
does,
see
man.
the new weapon? The
No,
pistol?
I did not.
There's a pistol, and I think that's the only weapon. That's the only weapon. It looks pretty cool. The maps look really cool too, and the armor looks really cool
It
too.
does, yeah.
Yeah.
I will say this trailer reminded me of how much I really love Doom. The campaign was awesome. The multiplayer is so fun, but for some reason, I haven't played it in like months now. It's because I've been so caught up in single player stuff, and I'm not really in the mood to play a multiplayer shooter right now, but that game is fantastic, and that trailer was like, man,
I don't
really
even
wanna
have
play
my
that.
copy right now.
Who has it?
My uncle.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think he's beaten it yet either, so I need to get on him and make sure he beats that.
No, but I would love to jump back in that with you. I know I'm now granted I've only played like 6 matches in the full game. You've played a lot more and you still haven't lost
Yeah,
either,
I'm like
right?
22-0.
Yeah, I'd love to continue our winning streak because we kick ass at Doom, and let's kick some more ass.
We're pretty much the best players ever.
Yeah, I agree. We should probably go MLG, esports with Doom.
Is MLG a thing anymore?
I don't think it is.
Yes, it is.
Is it?
It's owned by Activision.
Okay, is MLG different from esports?
It is like it's like a brand that runs esports.
Okay,
Like
interesting.
Activision bought them so that Blizzard could host all its like esports under the MLG brand.
Okay, cool.
MLG used to just do CS:GO and like Call of Duty and stuff, but
We're going to start a game battles team.
Okay.
game
I think we
battles.
talked about that for years with like Call of Duty. We were like, let's start a game battles team. Never did it.
That's like the most middle school thing
It
ever.
is. It totally is. No offense to anyone that did game battles. I always thought it sounded really cool, but we never did it.
It's like, dude, game battles me, dude.
Yeah, game battles
get
me,
your
bitch.
team against mine. I'm number 1 in like this forum or something.
Are you?
No, I'm not.
Oh,
That's
okay.
just like what people would say.
Really?
I'm the leader of the forums
I'm
here.
number 1 game battles guy.
It's my way or the highway. Yeah, we can start a game battles team for the remaster of Call of Duty 4.
Yeah.
That seems like the most appropriate time to start one.
Yeah.
Starcraft HD Remaster is coming. This kind of has me interested, and I'm going to explain why. Rumored to be announced in September with more details coming at BlizzCon in November. According to Kotaku, the upgraded version of Starcraft will feature, quote, improved graphics resolution and user interface, but will reportedly play just as the original did, end quote. You know why I'm interested in this? It's
Why?
because when I went
Because you're
to...
such a big fan of XCOM.
Not at all.
No.
No, XCOM, I'm so pumped to play. I'm not kidding when I say that. It looks awesome. Like, I would have never been interested if you hadn't said, like, you're never going to play that. And then I was like, I kind of want to check that out. When I watched it, I was like, that looks so cool. So anyway, speaking of StarCraft, the only reason why I may give this a chance is because when I was going to music school, I went to school with a kid who was a massive fan of StarCraft. Like, it's all he would ever talk about. And it didn't annoy me because I was interested in it. And he used to show me gameplay all the time. And he showed me, like we were talking about, like MLG competitions of StarCraft. And he showed me like how to be strategic and how to do this. And he's like, and he'd watch the gameplay like, oh man, that guy really screwed up there. And like, he would be right because like 5 minutes later he would suffer for like a decision he had made. I'm like, wow, that looks pretty interesting. Now I may play it once and be like, all right, that's enough for me. But I was interested enough to give it a try because it looks really cool. And the fact that it's getting remastered, anything that gets remastered that's renowned as being really good that I haven't already played, I'm at least interested to give it a shot. So
What are you gonna play it on?
does it only come to PC? Does it?
It might be on Mac. I don't know.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. But if that's the case,
It's definitely
probably
not
won't
on
play
console.
it. But I think that's cool that they're remastering it because
Now, I know you probably already know this, but there is an XCOM on PS Vita.
yes, there is the first one.
Yeah.
I didn't buy it because it was expensive at the time, and I just wanted to play the second one. So I'm waiting till the second one comes in October or September. I can't remember. We talked about it at E3, but I already forgot.
I don't care enough to know.
One of those 2 months. So that's coming. Next, guys, a little couple funny stories regarding Pokemon Go. I think these are entertaining for all those who are currently playing, have played, even if you're already done with the game. These are pretty funny stories I thought I'd share. This comes from an article on IGN, I believe. It's called 5 Crazy Pokemon Go Stories. You ready for these?
Sure.
Okay, here goes the first one. This is funny. Olympic gymnast generates $5,000 in phone bills playing Pokemon Go. Gymnast Kohei Uchimura from Japan. Yeah, it's another Japanese name, you know. From Japan, is in Brazil for the 2016 Olympic Games, and he's been playing Pokemon Go while abroad to pass the time. Unfortunately, in the process, he amassed a $4,954, or about 500,000 yen, phone bill thanks to roaming charges. After explaining the situation to his phone company, Uchimura convinced them to waive the extra costs and charge him a flat $30 per day fee. I was like, can you imagine if they didn't waive that? Like, you owe us $5,000 for playing Pokemon Go abroad. I was like, man, that would suck so much. But that's cool that his phone company was like, oh, that sucks, but we'll just charge you $30 a day. So
I thought it was pretty cool how they released the app in Brazil right before the Olympics started.
they did. Great idea on their part to make that happen because it's going to be crazy there for a while. But
I watched the bike riding.
did you?
Yeah, and these men will just pull over and just start pissing
Really?
Yeah, just on the side of the road.
Man.
Gotta go.
How long
crazy.
are they biking at a time? Like
Dude.
hours?
Oh my gosh. They showed the map that these people had to. It was ridiculous. It's like the length. I know I'm exaggerating here, but it was like the length of a country.
Oh my
Like
gosh.
it was down this beach and like up around and then back down the beach and then through these mountains and then through the mountains again, like another loop and stuff.
they go
It
a
was
long way.
ridiculous.
Man, if
And
you have
they're
the
just-
endurance and strength to do that, I bet that'd be so fun.
Yeah, and they're just pulling over, peeing on the sidewalk, and they'll get to like the bumpy gravel stuff, and like their bikes will break. But I was just imagining them just like with their phones out catching a Pokemon,
Like while they're going, just like mount it on your bike with like a constant lure and just catch them while you're riding.
Yeah,
That'd be
I
impressive.
also watched some water polo today too.
I watched
Did
some
you?
women's swimming.
Not a fun sport
Really?
to watch in my
Water
opinion.
polo?
Yeah,
U.S. women's brought home the gold for 400 meters.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Go USA.
Yeah, we got
Go
got
us.
gold.
hmm Yeah, water polo, I would imagine, is probably one of the most exhausting sports ever.
yeah, they can't touch the floor.
Yeah.
They just gotta like viciously swim.
That sounds exhausting,
Yeah.
just thinking about it.
And
I'm
the
exhausted
men,
swimming a lap. in
no
the
offense
pool.
to the men, because like I'm sure they're in immaculate shape.
Yeah,
but
like
they
this
don't,
guy at the
They
table.
don't look like it.
I'm not a great swimmer.
They don't look like they're in good shape, really.
Really?
Yeah, they just look like normal dudes. Like whereas the swimmers, they're like in fit prime condition, like
Right.
slacked of hair, like everywhere. They're like fit for speed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These guys just look like
Which
a bunch
guys
of
are you talking
college
about?
bros. The
Bunch of
water polo
bros.
men.
Okay.
Yeah,
The poloman.
yeah.
That's pretty cool,
But
yeah.
yes,
That's why I've
that is
never got
a-
into cycling, because you have to be really slim. And
Who was that cycle man that cheated?
Lance Armstrong.
Lance Armstrong, who lost one of his nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's been a lot of cyclists that have cheated.
that I think was it Ted, where
Ted.
that movie Ted.
Oh,
He had one of his the guy that was trying.
Oh, no, it was Dodgeball. Who had a testicle or something, or was it?
No, this was Ted.
No, it's Ted.
Was it?
Yeah, he had one of is it Neil Armstrong? Lance
Lance.
Armstrong's
Neil Armstrong landed on
Lance
the moon.
Armstrong's testicles encased in like gold or
Yeah,
bronze.
that's right, yeah.
for on display.
And then the second one, they went to Tom Brady's house.
Mm-hmm.
I never saw the second one.
should see
I actually
the second
watched
one.
it just a couple weeks ago with my
That's good.
dad. It was pretty funny.
It's not as
yeah.
good as the first one, but it's pretty good.
Yeah, it had some funny parts for sure.
Hmm.
But it was a solid sequel, I'd say, for it being as dumb as it is.
It's not like Anchorman 2,
Yeah, just a amazing sequel.
Yeah, it's probably one of the best sequels of all time, for being
I think I
honest.
fell asleep during that. I'm pretty sure I did. I legitimately fell asleep. I've only fallen asleep during 3 movies in my life.
Me too.
Anchorman 2, Live Free or Die Hard,
Uh-huh.
and that one movie me, you, and Casey went to see with Henry Cavill in it.
Oh, The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
The Man from U.N.C.L.E. I fell
How
asleep
is
during that.
It was all right.
Because I have it on my DVR. I haven't decided to delete it or watch it.
I fell asleep during it.
It's okay. It's nothing
I'll
special.
delete it.
I'll delete it. Yeah, I think I fell asleep in 3. No, 2 that I know for a fact I fell asleep in was Robin Hood with Russell Crowe. Fell asleep in that. I fell asleep in Jack Bauer. Not Jack Bauer.
Jack Reacher?
No, not Jack Reacher.
Jack Bauer.
It's with Chris Pine. He's the secret agent. It's like a remake from like when Harrison Ford was in back in the day. Jack something Shadow Recruit is what it's
Jack
called.
Reacher?
It's not Jack
No.
Reacher.
It's not?
No. There's so many Jacks that are secret agents. It's Jack.
It's Shadow Recruit, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
Jack something Shadow Recruit. And I'm pretty sure they're making a sequel to it, and I laughed when I saw the trailer.
Shadow Recruit. Speaking of that, did y'all see the sequel for the new? We are so off topic.
Jack
right now. It's
Reacher?
hilarious. No, the
Triple
new,
X?
No. the one with Jason Statham.
Jason Statham?
Statham.
Jason Statham, yeah.
Which one?
The mechanist.
Oh, that's a sequel.
Yeah.
The Mechanic?
Yeah, something. Did you
Yeah.
not see the trailer when y'all saw Suicide Squad?
Not.
Where he was like suction cupped to the bottom of that pool, and he like cut a hole in it.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Uh-huh.
I think that movie looks pretty cool.
Yeah. I love Jason Statham's movies. They're just solid action
Jack,
movies.
okay, it's Jack Shadow Recruit.
Yeah, Jack something Shadow Recruit. Sorry if someone's screaming at us in the video right
Well,
now.
they can keep screaming. This
we
is
can't hear you.
Yeah,
To all the haters, no one cares.
Is it-
No one's listening.
Jack Ryan.
That's what it is. Jack Bauer, Jack Ryan, Jack Reacher. Did you see the Jack Reacher sequel trailer?
Who's in that?
Tom Cruise.
No.
Yeah, it looks all
I
right.
didn't know they were making a sequel.
Yeah, Jack Reacher.
Is it like the I'm a loose cannon?
Yeah,
badass?
Jack Reacher is very. I think it's based off a series of books, if I'm not mistaken.
Jesus
I've heard
Christ,
that.
it's Jason Bourne.
How did that movie review?
Jason Bourne,
Yeah.
Actually pretty well. They're just like,
I want to see it.
yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's entertaining. But yeah, all the reviews were like, oh, it's just another Jason Bourne movie, so whatever. But yeah, that trailer makes me laugh.
That one punch sold me.
Yeah. Oh, at the beginning.
It's a cool punch.
It is a cool punch, yeah. I remember they showed that at the first trailer for it during the Super Bowl last year. I was like, that looks pretty badass.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Number 2 on our Pokemon stories. back in action. Niantic, potato, however you want to say it, recently removed the battery saver option for iOS players from the game, promising it would return within, quote, several days. But whether you're playing on an Android or iOS device, the game can still be a hefty drain on your battery. So it's no surprise that players have started investing in extra battery packs. The demand has been so high, though, according to NPD Group, the sales of battery packs for mobile devices grew by 101% between July 10th and July 23rd. If only the game came along with its own personal Magnemite. That's a joke in the end of the story. I also invested in an external battery charger.
Oh, you did?
I invested in a badass one,
Yeah,
too.
y'all a little late to the party.
Yeah.
Been having this thing for a while now.
Yeah, the one I like, I bought it because it can charge up to 4 devices at once, up to 3 full charges before like the device itself needs to be recharged. So we used the crap out of it on our trip Disney and Universal last week, and it served us well. None of our phones ever died. And
Except the first day where you forgot it.
Yeah, I did forget to bring.
No,
it
we
with
forgot
us.
a cable.
Yeah, I forgot to bring an iPhone cable the first day, so I failed us the first day. But everything after that, we brought our own cables and all charged. Like whenever we were waiting in line for something, we'd all just plug our phones in and just stand there together. And one of the things I did at the end of the night, I think our last night at Disney, I carried a backpack with us everywhere we went, so I had a cable coming out of my backpack into my phone, and it just sat in my pocket, so it was constantly charging, which obviously is easier for you because yours is built in, but it worked for what we were doing.
Yeah.
And so I also invested in one for the sake of Pokemon Go on our trip, and it served us well. So I'm a part of that statistic. I'm just a statistic now.
Mm-hmm. I invested in one because I was just sick of my phone dying every single day at work.
Mm-hmm.
So I can go 2 days now without charging.
That's amazing.
I don't want to do that.
Right.
Sometimes I forget to charge at night, and I wake up and my phone's at 1%. So I just push the little button on the back of my case, and in like 30 minutes, I'm at 100 again.
Now, when you charge your phone with a cable, does it also charge the phone case, or do you have to charge it separately?
No, it is a micro USB cable in the side.
Now it charges both at
and
once?
it charges the case and the phone
That's
at the same
great.
time.
That's
and
great.
the back has a little button here that tells you, see, I'm out here.
Mm-hmm.
So it shows you how the case is doing.
Wow.
Does the case battery go first and then the phone? Or the phone before the
Charging?
case? No, like, what battery does it use first when they're both fully charged?
When they're fully charged, it goes through this.
The phone first.
Yeah, I activate this. You hold it down. I think I'm out, so it's not going to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm out. But I just hold it down, and then it goes, bloop, bloop, it's charging.
That is really cool. How much you
Yeah,
said that was? Like $80 or something?
$50.
Wow, that's great.
Yes. And I've thrown this thing around like crazy, and it's good to go.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very protective as well.
That's cool. OtterBox, correct?
Yes.
That's cool. Yeah, great idea for a phone, because it's not too bulky either, which I like.
No.
Some of the OtterBoxes make phones just to look a little too chubby, in my opinion. Number 3. The High Council of Virtual Spaces in Iran has banned Pokemon Go in the country, according to the BBC, citing unspecified security worries. The BBC notes, however, that social media posts in the country suggest players have ignored the ban and continue to play the game. While Iran is the first country to ban the game, the BBC also detailed that other countries have put some limits on play of the game, such as Indonesia, where police officers are forbidden from playing the game while on duty. So the game's pretty wild, man. You got security officers playing on duty. So that's when you know you got a popular game on your hands. But I thought it was funny how like countries are like, this game's banned because it's taking over people's lives. But that's pretty funny. Number 4, a lawsuit has been filed against the companies behind Pokemon Go seeking class action status. The plaintiff is contesting that Niantic Labs set Pokemon stops and Pokemon gyms on his property in Wesser Orange, New Jersey without his consent, and as a result, players are hampering his quality of life. The suit was filed on July 29th, giving Niantic Labs, Nintendo, and the Pokemon company several weeks to respond to the suit. So I can imagine if you like live in like a house and you just constantly have people coming by your house to get like use the Pokestop in the gym and everything. Like, for example, I pulled into work when we got back from Florida, and there's just a couple kids in the parking lot just sitting next to the sign, whoring the Pokemon Stop. I was like, I don't blame them because you can just sit there for hours and use it, but people all the time I can see just literally swing into the parking lot, use the Pokestop, and leave because that's like the only one even relatively near where I work, so everyone comes by it. But I can see why that would annoy someone. And the last one's short. It's just that Andrew Gofarb of our IGN fell off a pier somehow playing the game. And it says, to find this story, go to our website. I'm like, no. But apparently he fell off a pier playing the game, so that's pretty funny.
I would like to say something, and I don't want to come off as like, oh, I'm the king of the castle, the video game, the video game guy talking to the people that don't play video games, because I see a lot of people, and I've read a lot of posts talking about like, here I go again, getting ahead of myself. Let me retrace.
What's going on?
I'm a mess. Let me restart my story. I don't want to come as I don't want to.
You want to come off as an arrogant asshole.
Yeah, because I've played games for a long time. But there are a lot of people that have not played games for a while going on these tirades about how they're so confused on the app updating and things changing and stuff. And they're like, I want a refund and stuff because the game is. And I'm sure there are some people that have, that are actual gamers that are mad about the updates and stuff. But I'm like, okay, games go through updates and stuff. That's just kind of like the nature of games nowadays. Like, MMOs, shooters, things get balanced and stuff. So, there's not really a need to, and I'm talking to you like 30-year-old mothers on Facebook that are going on rants about Pokemon Go while your son is bawling in the background. Like, you don't, things change, get over it. So have you seen any of that at all?
I haven't, no.
Yeah, people are complaining like the little steps are gone or something. And fine, if people don't like it, then say that and they'll fix it. Like if you don't like it, and if
they're bringing it back, they're just fixing it.
Yeah, exactly. Like these people act like updating like it's ruined their life and stuff. Like, holy crap, chill.
It has made the game a lot less fun to play.
Yeah,
I will give it that.
And that happens in like all games and stuff. Like they mess with things and they they listen to feedback and they fix it. But there are people are like going nuts, like asking for refunds and like all of this stuff. Like they'll fix it. It's okay. Go feed your child.
It's okay.
Have a good rest of your day.
It'll be all right.
It'll be
Watch a movie.
It'll be just fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are more important things in life than
agree.
catching a Psyduck.
Yes. Plenty of Psyducks. If you want a lot of Psyducks, go to Universal Studios. You will find plenty. I actually got mine to I got mine to a Golduck because there were so many.
Wow.
And we also caught a wild Vaporeon there as well. Just running around. Yep, caught a wild one. I evolved a Vaporeon as well, and I evolved a what's the Sparky one again? Jolteon, yeah. There's a lot of Eevees. Well, I actually evolved my most recent Eevee inside a pizza place where we were at a few nights ago. We went to see Suicide Squad and got a Jolteon. So I got a Vaporeon and Jolteon now.
I named my Vaporeon Bubble Dog.
Bubble Dog. Interesting.
Yes.
I caught a Slowbro outside the Transformers ride.
You did, yeah.
That's when I was like delaying. You guys were all waiting for me.
Do you have any funny names for your Pokemon?
I call my Slowbro Slowbruh.
Slowbruh.
I have Bubble Dog. My Pidgeot is Big Ass Bird. My
That's offensive.
Sorry. My that's the only ones I remember.
Okay.
So
yeah, I haven't named any of mine.
Yeah.
So
I have another one named, but I can't remember.
The funniest names I've seen is I think it was like a meme or some kind of article I'd seen where a guy named off his Pokemon based on what his phone autocorrected their names to. Like he'd erase one letter and want to autocorrect them. So I think his Zubat autocorrected the Subway, and there's a bunch of funny ones. I can't remember all of them, but you can probably look it up. Just look up player names Pokemon with autocorrect or something. There are so many funny ones that just his phone thought that the correct name was just crazy things.
Yeah.
But that's probably the funniest
names
Preston,
I've seen. I remember. I named my Vaporeon Vape Nation.
Oh, that's great. That works, Jacob. I like that.
Yeah.
Guys,
I'm glad I remembered that. That was important.
It is. That's very, very crucial to share. The Division movie has 2 cast members, one of which was already rumored.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
It is Jake Gyllenhaal, and Jessica Chastain's the other. I'm going to read a little article here. This is pretty cool. This is from Jordan Serrani of IGN1. I don't think we've ever read from before, so welcome to the party, Jordan Serrani. Quote, Ubisoft has confirmed a movie based on The Division is currently in development with Jake Gyllenhaal and Jessica Chastain. starring in the adaptation. Ubisoft Motion Pictures is developing the film alongside Gyllenhaal and Chastain's respective production companies, 9 Stories Productions and Freckle Films. In a post on the studio's blog, Ubisoft won't reveal any concrete plot details for the film, saying, quote, "The pandemic-stricken streets of The Division are filled with countless stories of love, loss, treachery, and heroism, but we'll have to wait to find out what avenues the film will explore." 4 other film adaptations of Ubisoft games are currently in development: Watch Dogs, Splinter Cell, Ghost Recon, and Rabbids. Ubisoft's next film project, Assassin's Creed, opens later this year on December 21st, end quote.
I'm so pumped for the Division movie.
I will say, Jessica Chastain and Jake Gyllenhaal are excellent actors, and I love everything Gyllenhaal's been in, especially the last few years. I think he's killing it, and I would love to see him in a role as like a Division agent. I think that'd be really cool. I can already see him nailing that role. I know that seems very generic, like, oh, it's just a Division agent running around shooting bad guys.
I hope there's a Jake Gyllenhaal DLC
in the Division.
There's a skin.
The Jake Gyllenhaal beanie from the movie.
Is that's what would get y'all to come back?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I would platinum the game if Jake Gyllenhaal came to the game. That's all that matters to me. But Jessica Chastain's awesome too. She's great in action roles, so I could definitely see them bouncing off each other in the movie. But I think if you write like a really intriguing story in that world, I mean, I know we've said it a million times, it's just another generic apocalypse story, but if they write a solid story in this world, I think it can be
it's pretty cool, like the money and stuff. So
yeah, I think it has potential for sure. And if they have 2 big actors like that, at least the acting ability's there already. So that's cool. But yeah, we already talked about kind of what we want to see from that.
I hope the Splinter Cell movie comes before this. Probably won't though, because the Division's probably more relevant
right
now. So.
Yeah, I have high hopes for Division and Splinter Cell too. I think Watch Dogs could do really well as well. I would imagine they'd take more of a route towards the sequel. Even though we haven't played the sequel yet, it already looks far more interesting than the original. So I could see that being cool if done right as well. You're just going to have a really fun, charismatic young actor in that role. I think it'd be pretty cool. So, but yeah, the Division, it's coming. A bunch of Ubisoft moves. We're still keeping our fingers crossed for Assassin's Creed. Lastly, Game of Thrones Season 8 will be the finishing season of the show. They also said that they don't know how many episodes are going to be in Season 8, because as we know, there's only going to be 7 in Season 7. The final season, they said they have not confirmed how many episodes are
left. They like
span
Season 8 into like 4 seasons.
Yeah, it's like 40 episodes. It's only one season, though.
Hope it's at least 7, like the Season 7.
I think 14 more episodes of the show. I could see it wrapping up in 14 episodes.
Oh, that's really close.
It is.
It's kind of sad. I don't want it to end.
It's sad but exciting because I'm ready to like see how it all comes together. But at the same time, it is sad because it is such a good show. And it's always
there's
exciting.
Nothing left on TV after that. I won't watch anything.
I'm
else.
still laughing at
TV. Yes.
Can we say a little bit of spoilers? Because
we'll say spoiler warning. Sure.
Spoiler warning
for season.
I'm going to put my hand
Thrones.
down when I'm done talking about it.
Okay. Now I don't know how we're going to tell our audio listeners.
That's a good. There's spoilers, so zoom ahead. Like, gosh.
This is what I'm going to do. In the description down below, if you look at the description, you can look at what time the spoiler's in. So you can just skip to there or wait till it gets to there for our audio listeners at least.
Just cover your ears and go la 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 for like 15 seconds.
Yes.
Okay, so here it comes.
Okay.
I thought it was hilarious, and I still find it hilarious that I thought that Jon Snow was the product of incest. That still makes me laugh to this
Team
day.
incest.
Oh, you thought he was? It was an incest baby?
Yeah, I thought it was his dad and his sister popping out of Jon Snow. I'd never thought about the Targaryen in her. When we were texting the next day, and I was like, "Dude, that was."
You weren't the only one that thought that.
Okay,
though. It was easy to mistake that because it almost seemed like Ned Stark was like, "Oh, like my sister, I love you. I'm always gonna be." It's easy to mistake it for that.
Okay,
so I understand completely.
Okay, because the second you were like, "No," I was like. What are you talking about, man? So
no.
That would have been a pretty big twist. That's why I was like, whoa, what a twist. Never thought, because then I was like, that means he's not a bastard.
Right.
Yeah. So I thought that was been a cool twist, but I guess not.
Yeah, that was just speculation.
Yeah.
He's still a bastard, but a royal bastard nonetheless.
Like you.
Exactly. You're a royal bastard. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it for news, guys. This brings us to our main topic of the week.
Oh, wow.
This one has me excited. We're going to talk about the top 3 games of this console generation, or our favorite games of this console generation so far. That being said, we have a crap ton of games coming the rest of this year and beyond until, this generation kind of comes to a close or evolves into these new consoles we have coming. I don't know if you consider that the end of this generation or the beginning of a new one, or just like a reimagining of this generation. We don't know. The future has a lot of weird things in store. But as far as the near future is concerned, we have a ton of arguably really awesome games coming our way. So I wanted to talk about our top 3 and our favorites of this generation so far. There's been a lot of awesome ones. There've been some not so good ones, but there's definitely been, for me, a top 3 that I've loved far more than all the rest, and I'd love to kind of delve into that with you guys. So if any of you are ready, I can start, but if one of you is ready to roll, I'd love for one of you to start.
I have a 2 and a 1.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of a third one. I think I might have a third one.
My 3 are easy.
All right, well, you go ahead.
Go for it, Jacob.
Am I just supposed to name them, or
name
do I have
them
to say
and tell us
why?
at least? We've talked about most of these games a ton already, so you can just keep it brief if you want, but at least give us a little something.
All right, I'll give you a little taste.
I like that, Jacob.
I'll start at number 3, I guess.
Okay.
Uncharted 4.
Okay.
Would be my number 3.
Because it has really good graphics.
That's part of it.
Yeah.
I really like graphics. Great story. I know it's not. I know you guys don't believe this, but I like this more than Last of Us.
Mm-hmm.
Uncharted 4.
I understand that. Is it like because you just like the action more?
Yeah, I just like the action. I like the gameplay more, even though they are kind of similar.
Mm-hmm.
Those 2 games. I like the story of Nathan Drake more. I thought it was a great way to wrap up his journey.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like that game. Number 2 is Overwatch. I played way too many hours of Overwatch.
Yeah.
It's funny. I was looking at Edgar and his brother on Overwatch. They're like over rank 100.
Man, you guys are kicking ass.
They're really killing it. I can't imagine putting in that much time.
That's awesome.
Because I have so much other stuff going on. But I really love Overwatch. It's the most fun I've had in a multiplayer since like Black Ops 3.
Mm-hmm.
Like even more so than Destiny, which I never thought I would stop playing, but I have.
Nice.
And I'm actually looking forward to Rise of Iron. Are you gonna play it?
I think I am, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, it does come out with a ton of other stuff, but that's one of those games where I can see if, like, during the week, I'm playing story stuff, but on the weekends, we have time to play. But, like, let's jump onto some Destiny for a while.
At the very least, we need to do some videos, I think.
I think so, too.
But, yeah, Overwatch is great. Everyone should play it. If you haven't, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, there's a lot of fun to be had, to say the least.
Yeah.
And if you don't have anyone to play with, join our PSN community. It's Obvious Gaming to play with. Not only us, but everyone else in the community, because I'm sure there's plenty of us out there that would like to play some Overwatch.
We're not just going to play Overwatch either.
Yeah, literally anything. But Overwatch is very fun if you haven't already played it.
Yep. Number 1 is Witcher 3.
Witcher 3.
Witcher 3.
Because of the good graphics.
Also good graphics.
Yeah.
Witcher 3, the questing in that game is unbelievable. There's just so many different kinds of quests. Really love Geralt as a character. I love all the different, customizations, the different armors you can get. The dyeing that they eventually put in, that was cool to change the color of your gear. Really like the Toussaint DLC, Blood and Wine.
Me too.
That was the most fun I had playing the whole game, and I was really happy to revisit that this summer.
You and me both.
And there's many things I'm forgetting, but
Do you have any
Witcher
honorable
3.
mentions, like ones that you didn't put on your list, but definitely stick out?
Like Destiny. I played that game more than any other this generation.
Right.
I still love it. Can't wait for the next Destiny. I think it will be much better than this one.
I have high hopes for it too.
Yeah. So, and I read a story that almost everyone at Bungie is working on Destiny too. So that explains why this next DLC isn't nearly as big as Taken King.
Right.
So
that's really exciting. So I look for. I hope we at least see like a teaser for Destiny 2 at E3 next year. I think that's a safe assumption.
It's still coming out next year, apparently.
Is it?
Yeah.
Wow. Man, that's pretty cool. Maybe it'll come out around this time next year, like September-ish, like the first one did.
I hope so.
That'd be cool.
It'd be a good window.
Definitely.
Nothing else really comes out.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't really think of any honorable mentions at this time.
That's all right. Great picks, though. I mean, those are solid choices, and I had fun with all those as well. What about you, Preston?
I feel like there's going to be a lot of retread here.
Okay. That's all right.
Mine
are actually a lot different.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Interesting. You must be an idiot.
I was gonna have 3 as Overwatch because it's been a long time since I've seen such like it be just like a general like thought that like a multiplayer shooter is so good. Like everybody thinks it's great.
Yeah.
I haven't really seen it to this degree like since like COD 4, like Halo 3 or something. So I was going to say Overwatch, but since you already had it in your list, I'm going to flip it with Destiny.
Okay.
And I think Destiny is a very important, even though it's, the review scores at, phase 1, version 1.0 weren't amazing. It was getting like 6s and 7s and stuff. It evolved to be just like a really cool, fun, like shared world shooter MMO type of deal that I feel like a lot of console players had never really been introduced to, like a game like this. Like people that would never play a game with like, this type of loot system and this type of quest system and like raids and stuff. Like for instance, like my uncle, they would have laughed at, a game like this. Like, yeah, I'm never going to play that. But this, just due to like the first person gameplay, shooting gameplay, it actually, it introduced them to a game like this, and they, they're willing to try, more different types of games, like this and stuff. Like I'm going to mention my uncle again. I got him in Destiny, and I was like, well, we'll try Witcher now. And he would have never played games like these, years ago, but he's, Destiny gave him a little taste of what an RPG was. So I basically threw him in, the ocean of The Witcher, and he loved it.
Yeah.
So I think just Destiny, for console players, that never played, WoW or other, MMO type games, I think that was a really cool game to introduce console players to something like that.
Definitely.
And it's a lot of fun. I've spent hundreds of hours with you guys playing that game, and I'm looking forward to the next expansion, especially Destiny 2.
I don't want to know how many hours I put in.
Yeah, I'm sure you've played way more than me, but I know I've played over 100 hours the last time I checked. But anyways, to number 2, I'm going to say Uncharted 4, because I think this generation, it just showed like the peak, just concerning this generation of what graphics can be, of what storytelling can be, just the overall package of what a game can be.
Right.
It just reeks like what a next gen game looks, sounds like, feels like. I never really understood like, oh, the gameplay's mediocre. I don't agree with that. I think that the stealth system was fun. I think the shooting is super buttery smooth.
So is the verticality. It's very smooth.
Yeah, it's just I think it's above average. The
multiplayer was really great.
Yeah, multiplayer is super fun. So I think for just an overall package type of game, I think that is just, you can't get any better than that. I'll disagree with you. I liked The Last of Us better. Just story wise, that game was just an emotional toll. Whereas Uncharted was just just a very lighthearted. It had emotional moments, but I was glad to see it didn't get as like dark as The Last of Us, which is what I was scared of. But fortunately, that wasn't the case. Number 1 has to be The Witcher 3. That is what RPGs are going to be compared to from now on. And as we saw with Fallout 4, that was kind of the downfall of that game. Not that it had a downfall, but it was just the comparison to The Witcher. This team that like when Witcher 1 came out, nobody had really heard of and stuff, and they just came out of nowhere and just released one of the greatest RPGs of all time and stuff, and kind of just showed Bethesda up. Like it does, for the most part, everything Fallout 4 does, but better in the terms of, like story and questing and like shaping the world around you and stuff, and combat too. Like Witcher's combat's freaking awesome. And the being able to customize your different signs, and like Jacob was saying, all the types of armor, and now with all the DLC packs, like putting enchantments on your armor and the dyes on your armor and stuff, and like finding all the diagrams to these pieces of armor, and like it not just like, oh, I'm going to buy this piece of armor and put it together. It's like, no, I've got to go on this journey to like find all these pieces just for a piece of armor and weapon and stuff. And sometimes it's as easy as just walking in a cave and finding it, and sometimes it's you doing a little quest line to find it, or like fighting a boss at the end and stuff. It is the definitive, like I said with Uncharted, the next gen overall package, it is the definitive next gen RPG.
Totally.
And that's why it won all the Game of the Year awards it got, and it's regarded for what it is today and stuff.
Definitely.
So yeah, I don't see. I'll be interested to see what you say, because I don't think I can come up with another, as much as I love, like I said, Uncharted 4 and how just amazing it was. It's, you know, in this generation, I can't think of another game that just pushed the boundaries and is just like, you know, did more for, you know, gaming, especially RPGs, as much as Witcher 3 did. So yeah,
I have a quick question about Witcher.
Yes.
What do you guys think about the argument that it's too big, The Witcher?
I think it's too big for those who suck.
Yeah.
I think it's as big as you kind of like. I think if you're anal about things,
like finding everything,
yeah, then it can become overwhelming. But if you
Right.
just stick to the a few side quests, Witcher contracts here and there, and stick to the story, I don't think it's big at it. I mean, it's big, but it's not as big as, you know, if you're checking off every single.
I agree.
You know,
Which
yeah,
you basically did
I did
to get the platinum.
But you didn't need to do it for the platinum. You only needed to do a few things for the platinum. The platinum for that game wasn't like clearing out your entire map. It was, you know, doing the Witcher contracts, which those aren't alike. Those are just different missions and stuff. So I don't necessarily. I think games that are too big, or games that are where the quests there's a lot of padding, which I guess you could argue that all those question marks are kind of padding, but they're not required to beat the game. So I don't think that's padding in the slightest. If they're just like an extra activity that you can do if you want to get XP and stuff. So no, I don't agree necessarily with the game being too big. You know,
Me either.
I mean, it's an RPG. RPGs are big, and like I said, if you just go through the story and stuff, it's not really big. I mean, it is big, but it's not like as big as people are saying. So, I'm gonna have to go tinkle.
Okay.
I've just drank 2 water bottles, as you saw, so I've been holding it in. So,
goodbye. All right.
I'll be back.
While you're gone, I'm gonna tell a quick story that I was gonna save for the end, just because I want to hear your response to my top 3 games. I'm gonna tell a story. You'll know what I'm talking about when you get back. So anyway, I'm going to tell you the story, Jacob. I may or may not have told you this. I definitely haven't told the community before, but I think this is so funny. I can't believe I've waited this long to tell this story. So it has to do with mine and Preston's youth as friends. Well, school starting back up this week, as we know. It actually started this past week where we live.
Yeah.
And
on a Thursday, Friday.
Yeah.
Which is odd.
I've actually started, when I was a kid and the schools did that when I went to school in Florida, I was like, man, that's kind of weird, but it makes sense if you think about it. Because remember, like the first couple of days of school are 2 things. One, kind of the class introducing themselves and going over the curriculum.
Yeah.
And the second day is kind of a little more of that. And then by the third day, you're like kind of up and running.
That's true.
So I can see why they like knock that out, have a weekend, and then like school actually starts the following week.
Yeah.
But school's starting up this past week, and it's going to be in full swing soon, at least in the state of Georgia and most of the country. Well, anyway, it got me thinking. We were talking about where I work, like funny elementary school stories and stuff, and it made me remember of a time where Preston and I got in huge trouble in elementary school together, and this is just priceless. And it's kind of embarrassing too. So stick with me. Anyway, one evening, let me wind back a bit. Our families, my family and Preston's family, used to have game nights together. Like our families would get together and play like a bunch of board games. Like we'd play, like Monopoly and Life and all those random board games we play as families. And Preston and I would mostly skip out on that and just go play video games upstairs, as we still do to this day. Well, one night, me, Preston, and our sisters were in the same room just hanging out, playing games, just talking and stuff. Well, Preston or me, I can't remember, I think we were at my parents' apartment. We were in between houses at the time. Well, my sister or someone had like this stuffed animal dog. You know the story I'm telling, Preston?
Yes, and we were at my house.
Okay, your house. Yeah. Was it your dog or like your sister's dog?
No, it was mine.
Okay.
Now, why?
I was telling Jacob because I was saving this for the end because school's starting back up, and I where I work, we were talking about funny school stories from when we were kids, and this sparked in my memory. I'm like, this would be so funny to share on the podcast because I haven't told it before on the podcast. So it has to do with going back to school.
Okay.
But anyway, so Preston had this stuffed animal dog, and it just so happened that Preston and I had a crush on the same girl. More so Preston than I did, but we technically had a crush on the same girl in elementary school. I think we're in 5th grade at the time.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So we were in 5th grade and we kind of had a crush on this girl. And we were joking with my sister. We're like, man, Anna, my sister's name's Anna. We're like, you should just give this stuffed dog to her to the girl we like as a joke and just say it's from Garrett and Preston. Like, maybe she'd like that. Maybe she'll be our girlfriend or something. We were so stupid. So we thought it'd be a good idea to tell my sister to give this girl, who I won't name, we'll call her Bertha. Now, she didn't look like a Bertha, but that's the name I'm going to use for the sake of confidentiality.
Now, so
okay. Well, just keep in mind, she doesn't look like a Bertha, but we're calling her Bertha. She's like, Anna. So Anna, we're gonna you should give this dog to Bertha for us. And the whole night we were joking about it. And Anna's like, okay. And we were all talking about it for a few hours. Didn't think anything of it. And that night on the way home, Anna's like, so do you really want me to... Anna had the dog still. She's like, do you really want me to give this dog to Bertha? And I was like, no. I was like, that's a terrible idea. And even as a kid, I knew that was a bad idea. So I'm like, no, do not do that. I'm like, we were just kidding. She's like, oh, okay. I was like, didn't think anything of it. Next morning, go to school, go through most of the day. Everything's fine. So we go to PE that day. My class goes to PE. And Preston and I were in different elementary school classes. So we go to PE, and when we come back into the school from PE class, my teacher pulls me aside. She's like, Garrett, we need to talk for a minute. I'm like, okay. She pulls me aside. She's like, did you give a stuffed animal to a young girl in Miss So-and-so's class? And I was thinking, I had already forgotten about the whole night before talking about this dog. I was like, no. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. She's like, well, come with me. We need to go see this teacher and this girl. So my teacher literally has me by the arm and is like dragging me down the hallway. And so we're walking, we come around this corner, and all of a sudden Bertha is Bertha's friend is comforting her, and Bertha is crying, sobbing, just like tears streaming down her face, like dry heaving, like walking to the bathroom. And she passes by me and my teacher. I'm like, oh my gosh. I was like, what's wrong with her? And I knew who it was, obviously, and I'm still like, it hadn't clicked in my brain what was going on. And I'm being a little kid, I'm scared at this point because this girl's like sobbing practically on the floor, and I'm like, what in the world happened to her? We go outside of this girl Bertha's classroom, and her teacher's standing outside the classroom door with the stuffed dog we had given to my sister. She has this dog by the neck in like a death grip, just staring at me. And it's so mean too. I don't know why she was so uptight about it. She holds the dog out to me, choking it. She's like, Garrett, did you give this dog to Bertha? I was like, no. And she's like, or my teacher asked me, she's like, did you give that dog to Bertha? I was like, no. And her teacher was like, no, ma'am. A young blonde girl. Sorry, it was a reminder on my phone. My goodness, my phone's going crazy. She goes, no, a young blonde girl dropped it off this morning with a note that said, from Garrett and Preston to Bertha. And then right in that moment, I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, my freaking sister did what we told her not to do. So the teacher's like, her mother does not allow her to accept gift from boys, and this has really upset her, and you've caused a huge ruckus here. She's like, who's Preston? And this sounds like a movie moment. I'm like, I swear on my life, this is a true story. Preston's classroom happened to be right across the hall from Bertha's. And I turn, and his classroom door happened to be open, and there's Preston deep in the classroom reading a book at his desk. And I turn and I see him, and I'm like, he's in there. And they're like, okay, we need to go get him. Now, I can't remember how the story, I'll let you tell your side of the story, Preston, but after that, my teacher's like, this is bad, Garrett. We're going to have to call your mom about this. Like, the girls, I don't know why she was so upset, but Bertha was crying. Her teacher was pissed.
She said, Bertha had said she'd been getting so many gifts. So many men have tried to court her that she was just overwhelmed.
All the 5th grade boys.
Yeah. Whose mom gets upset about a boy giving a young girl a gift?
Yeah, her parents were like
That's
pissed.
Stupid.
Yeah.
So uptight.
My story kind of ends there. I just got yelled at and like slapped on the hand essentially, but they had to call my mom and stuff. My mom didn't really care. They called your
mom?
I think so.
What
yeah.
the heck? They didn't call any of my.
No, my mom didn't care.
That's the most pathetic story.
I know. My mom.
Your mom like after all of this, I remember in the car, because every Monday I'd come back to your house or something, and she was like, "You didn't do anything wrong. Like giving a girl a gift is absolutely nothing is wrong with that." Like your mom was totally on our side, we wanted to do it or something. Yeah. So,
but what did they do when they came to your classroom?
The teacher, whom shall not be named, was a bitch. I remember her. She was just a grumpy old woman. Yeah. And she said, she viciously just gave me the dog, and she was like, take it home. Yeah. Or something. So I shoved it in my book bag. It was all mangled and stuff in my book bag, and I kept it in there for a while because I forgot to take it out. Yeah. But I remember there was school was almost over, and I was mortified. Of course, I never...
Because, like, everyone in our classes sees all this happening.
I never talked to Bertha again.
Yeah.
The only interaction I ever had with Bertha up until this point was we would like switch teachers for a little bit, and we were doing like this. I was doing math at another teacher's room, and me and a friend, I forgot his name, were sitting next to Bertha and her friend that was comforting her while she cried.
Yeah.
Her name is what's her name?
Tabitha.
Tabitha.
Oh, these are two horrible names.
Tabitha. And Tabitha looks at me and goes, "Are you Preston?"
Yeah.
And I go, "Yeah." And then I make eye contact with Bertha. That was the only contact.
Yeah,
up until that
I'm
point.
Preston. Don't forget it.
Yeah. Funny enough, I ended up dating Bertha.
You did. Years later. Like, actually dating.
What a shit show that was.
Did you ever talk about that story?
She claims she doesn't remember. But horrible relationship. Anyways.
That's so amazing.
Oh, that was that girl?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Wow.
That's amazing when you think about it.
Yeah.
Oh, that was that one?
Yeah.
Bertha was a total bitch.
Oh, no.
To say the least. But,
I understand where this is coming from now.
Anyways, nobody called my parents or anything.
That's
So,
good.
Yeah.
Maybe I just took all the heat from it because it was from my
she
sister.
She just gave me the mangled dog, and I was just like so happy that not only was school almost over, but I was moving to a completely different school system due to my dad's job. Like we had to move and stuff. So I was completely out. Never saw her again until inevitably we saw each other on Facebook or something. I honestly forgot how that even happened.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing story.
Yeah.
One other quick one about that same girl. This is hysterical. I know you'll remember this. So before this even happened, like I said, Preston and I had a crush on the same girl. I remember we were sitting in a movie one day, and we were just like talking through the whole movie, and you're like, dude. We're going to play... I can't remember which NHL it was on GameCube. You're like, we're going to play NHL, and whoever wins gets to date Bertha. And we were like, okay, fine. So we get back to my house, and we played NHL, and Preston kicked my ass in the game, dude. Absolutely massacred me. And every time he scored, I wanted to just like smash his face in or something. I wasn't that mad, but I was so silently pissed off that he was just destroying me. And he beat me so bad. You know, being a stupid little kid, I'm convinced like he gets to go out with Bertha now. And he was like, oh, I won. She gets to be my girlfriend. And I was like, oh, cool. And I was so mad. Like I thought I'd lost everything in life at that point, and I'll never forget that. So good times in elementary school. We have countless stories we'll have to tell some other time, but so many good ones. But
some sad stories.
Yeah, that was my filler story till I got to my top 3 games of this console generation.
What a segue.
Yeah. Now mine are purely based on how much fun I had playing these games. Now there's plenty of technical reasons why other games are better than these games, but these are purely based on how much fun I've had this console generation so far. Number 3, Dark Souls 3. I love Dark Souls 3. Now, when I went into it...
Now, you have Dark Souls over Bloodborne this generation?
I do. Okay. Bloodborne's on my honorable mentions.
I would too, even though I didn't finish it.
Yeah, Bloodborne's on my honorable mentions.
I liked Bloodborne because you could platinum it easier.
Yeah. And Dark Souls 3, from start to finish, I loved every moment of that game. It's the weirdest thing is I come into the Souls series so late, and now... based on what the creator said, it's done. Now we'll see more games like that. Obviously, probably a Bloodborne sequel.
Not done.
Yeah, we'll see. But I came into it late. I own Dark Souls 2, which I will at some point in life play. We just have way too much coming in our future that I just didn't get to it in time. But I do want to play that one, and I still own a 360. If I really love Dark Souls 2, I feel like I may owe it to myself to go play Demon Souls eventually on 360. Doubt it'll happen, but there might come a time where I play it.
What?
On 360. Demon Souls.
I thought it was only on PS4.
It's only on PS3.
Is it? Oh, wow. I could have sworn I saw it on 360 when I worked at GameStop. I must be crazy.
Dark Souls 1 is on 360.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Anyway.
How does it feel to get showed up?
Yeah, that's all right. Anyway, Dark Souls 3 I absolutely loved from start to finish, and it was the first... Obviously, I was introduced to this style of game with Bloodborne, and I was I didn't... Because, those games are a little vague. They don't hold your hand while you play it, so I didn't realize when I beat Bloodborne there were still bosses I hadn't killed, and I was like, dang it, that sucks. And I went into New Game Plus too early, and I got my ass kicked because I wasn't high enough level, so I pretty much gave up on Bloodborne at that point. But going into Dark Souls 3 is a little smarter about it, so I made sure I wasn't missing any bosses when I played through the game, and I beat all the bosses, beat the game, and with the exception of not getting the platinum, I essentially did everything you could do in that game gameplay-wise, so I had a ton of fun with that one from start to finish, and I just loved the difficulty of all the bosses. And thankfully, there wasn't ever a boss where I wanted to kill myself. Like the hardest one, obviously, that mostly everyone had the hard time with was the Nameless King. So that was pretty tough, but other than that, it was all super fun. I loved the score of the game, the music's super epic, and all the boss fights, and loved finding all the rare armors and stuff throughout the game. It was always exciting, and overall, just had a ton of fun with it, and I look forward to playing a sequel to Bloodborne or whatever else we have coming next from those guys. So super fun with Dark Souls 3. Second was Batman Arkham Knight. Now, there's plenty of complaints I had about this game. If you're interested at all, it's old now, but our review of Batman Arkham Knight is in our review playlist on youtube.com/itsobviousgaming, where we talk about everything we loved and didn't love about our Batman Arkham Knight. But the reason why it's on my top 3 is because at the time, it was everything I ever wanted in a Batman game. Because one, you're just total badass as Batman. Obviously, the combat's always been great in the Arkham games, but the combat was awesome. The exploring Gotham was super cool. The Batmobile is still awesome to drive. Now the tank stuff I could do without. It's cool that's in there. If it was in there less, it was one of our gripes. I would have been happier with it. But as far as gameplay is concerned, I loved that game so much. Because driving the Batmobile made me feel so cool, and shooting out of it and gliding across the city and getting in fights. And most of the boss battles all sucked in Arkham Knight, and the story as a whole was okay.
That is right.
The twist sucked in Arkham Knight, but overall, I just loved being Batman in the game, and I just had so much fun. And I still stand by saying, like, that's still the coolest game ever played. Nowhere near the best game ever played, not even close. But just as far as it just being really, really cool, just being such a big fan of Batman.
Now, is this the topic? What's the topic? The best games or our favorite games?
Me personally, this is my favorite. But
Okay.
it's probably listed as the best games of this generation.
Favorites.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because I wouldn't have I put Destiny as best, because I was trying to think of games that, like, defined this generation.
No, I'm not thinking of that at all.
Oh, okay.
Well, way to explain the topic here.
I know. Well, arguably, it could be the best if you want it to be. Maybe your favorite games are the best.
Just finish
In your
list.
mind.
Well, I would say, yeah, Witcher 3 and Uncharted 4 are probably up there anyways.
Yeah. Witcher 3 is my top one. You guys already covered everything I wanted to say about it. That game's phenomenal. And it is, like you said, the definitive RPG as of right now. And everything will be compared to it going forward, so everyone's really got to step their game up, especially Bethesda, because they're kind of the ones that are in the limelight, because they're previously the ones that held the title of Best RPG. So, just has me even more excited about Cyberpunk. Is it 2077?
I believe so.
Yeah. Even though we won't see that anytime soon, but I look forward to seeing.
We might see it in 2077 at this rate.
Seriously. No, but I do look forward to hearing about that more down the road. But honorable mentions are Uncharted 4. Had a ton of fun with it. I think Last of Us overall I enjoyed more as well, just because it's a brand new story. I mean, we've been with Nathan Drake. I mean, I came into the game late, but playing through all the games, it's phenomenal. It's great. But it's a little more lighthearted, like you said, and I like the drama and the darkness and like how it kind of all wraps up in Last of Us 1 and really makes you think about the possibilities of Last of Us 2, which I think are almost all but confirmed now. It's like pretty obvious that they're working on a sequel. We'll see. But Uncharted 4 is an honorable mention for sure. Metal Gear Solid 5, loved a lot more than I thought I would. It's the one and only Metal Gear game I've ever played. Now, I know longtime Metal Gear fans have been like, this isn't a real Metal Gear game. But for me, it was a ton of fun. I loved the stealth and the gameplay, and the open world was fun. And I told you I had gone back to it months after it had come out and tried to S-rank all the missions, and I got through almost half of them before something had come out. Can't remember what it was, but I was just going to town in that game and I was loving it, because when you S-rank missions, it just made you play the game in a bunch of different ways you wouldn't normally play it, especially with all the extra objectives you have to complete. So that made it really interesting playing through most of the game again, trying to S-rank everything. Had a ton of fun with that one. It was good. Bloodborne, like I said, is another honorable mention. It introduced me to the gameplay style of the Souls series, the unforgiving difficulty. That's not even a word. How unforgiving the difficulty is in the games, and just the worlds. Like Bloodborne's a lot different than Dark Souls, but they're both very dark, and I love like the Halloween vibe I get from Bloodborne, like the werewolf people and the creatures and everything are really cool. So I really
love the first time I saw those huge werewolf things.
Those still freak me out. Whenever they'd run at me, I just literally scream.
I think it was on the bridge before the first boss.
Yep.
I remember I sprinted back down the stairs. I was like, nope.
Yeah. Those always freaked me out. But Fallout 4 is another honorable mention, just because I love that game, and I love Fallout 3 as well. But this generation Fallout 4, as we said...
That was going to be my joke about Fallout 4. I was going to say Fallout 4, but I was like, oh, wait, that was from last generation, right. I think.
No, but... Even though Witcher 3 is obviously the better RPG, Fallout 4 I still loved from start to finish, and I played the crap out of the game. We've all platinumed it, so we all did everything you could do. I haven't gotten all the trophies into the DLC, which I don't care about, but the main game I platinumed.
Now, I do have, before we finalize and close out and everything, I do have a question about a very unique game. Well, in a way, unique game that came out this generation.
You talking about Thief?
Yeah, you got me.
We were all waiting to say that's
Super
our
next
biggest
gen.
honorable mention.
Quantum Break
Yeah.
tried something that definitely had not been done before in terms of weaving in a TV show with its game. Do you guys think that was like, I know we talked about it in like a review or something, but do you think that could potentially like give inspiration to other, developers to do a similar thing this generation?
I think so. That's another one we could have mentioned on because we were so tired in our previous episode of the influential games. That's another one that could very well be influential in that sense. Because I was thinking, I remember I was talking about it when the game came out, that's an awesome idea from an actor's standpoint. Because I'm sure as an actor, it's awesome to be like, one, I'm in a video game. That's already cool as it is. I'm sure voice acting is a ton of fun as well. But the fact that you get to do live action acting as well, I'm sure is really exciting for actors. And arguably, you could say that, like, sure, it's a TV show, but at the same time, they're basically just live-action cutscenes. Because without the cutscenes, the game wouldn't tie together, and without the game, the cutscenes wouldn't tie together. So one can't exist without the other. But I still think that is a really cool idea, and it worked well. Now, the fact that some of them would struggle to load, and other ones would be...
Or you could download all of them for like 80 bucks
yeah,
or something.
So that was kind of annoying, but overall, it was a smooth experience, and it told the story very well. And I thought the dynamic, like... It didn't really improve the game for me, but it was cool because it was new and we hadn't seen something like that before. So I think that's actually a very good question that it very well could influence games going forward. I don't know who else would do it, but for that style of game, I think it worked really well. So
I think there's room for that to exist and also what we already have. I don't know if I necessarily want them to become one, you know, like every game to have like 30-minute cutscenes.
Yeah.
Then connects the game.
Not that has anything to do with the topic of influencing anything. I was just trying to think of, to make us look not as PlayStation fanboy as possible, to come up with an Xbox game. Because clearly we are not here on the podcast.
Right.
Yes. And for the visual listeners, I'm wearing a PlayStation shirt right now.
I mean, I could say I've had a lot of fun with Master Chief Collection and Halo 5. I mean, I have had a lot of fun with them. I haven't played them nearly as much as the others, but I did really love those games.
Would you if they were on PS4?
Yeah. But they're not.
What?
I would have loved them the same.
I'm trying to, there hasn't really, I'm like even trying to think. There hasn't really been any like crazy Xbox exclusives recently. I mean, the last one I had a ton of fun with was Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Crap, I totally forgot my number one. I'm changing it. Madden 16, dude. I freaking love that game. It's my favorite game this console generation.
What'd you like
about it? No one forget
it?
Football, man. I love football, and I love how they improved the font of everyone's names on the jerseys that year. And they refined
the big thing they added in that year.
Yeah, they refined the spin move. You know how you can spin a guy that's trying to tackle you? They refined that. It's smoother now. So that was like the really big feature they were pushing for Madden 16, and it really like revolutionized the experience. And that's why I think it's better than every game that's come this console generation. And I stand by that forever, so no one forget it. Okay. That's it for me as far as top games are concerned. So
I think the service of PlayStation Now is the best game of this generation.
Like the online service?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
because it includes all the best games of last generation.
I think navigating the PlayStation, what's the word? Not software, no. Interface, like everything within the PlayStation is very simple and clean.
It's almost like a game itself.
Yes, it's easy to get around in there. Now, Xbox, I find myself talking to the Kinect just because I can't find what I'm looking for.
They recently just changed it again, like a couple days ago.
Is it still confusing?
It's still similar to what it was, but they changed more stuff.
Okay. I just think it's a little too complicated on Xbox.
I can't even find the store anymore.
You are such a flaming PlayStation fanboy. It sickens me.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It doesn't make me dislike the Xbox. I feel at home on PlayStation, so that's all there is to it.
Did you say Xbox? I thought you said Netflix machine.
Netflix machine. But can you use Netflix on PlayStation?
You can, but I don't for some reason.
That's interesting. Wow.
I've been using a lot of Hulu recently.
On PlayStation?
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of 600-Pound Life.
Man, so many things to watch.
Never heard of
choose that.
For some reason, that show has hooked me.
I watched my dad watching that show recently, and he was like fascinated by it.
It is fascinating. It's fascinating that some people will blatantly eat bad, but they'll go to the doctors and be like, "What? I didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
What'd I do?" Like, and he's like, "You
It's like
haven't."
Jabba the Hutt in the waiting room. Like, sir.
They're like, he was like, "You've had your weight loss surgery." This little, I don't know what ethnicity he is, but he's this little man and he talks like this. He's like, "Barbara, you've been eating bad. You've gained 20 pounds since your surgery. But I've been following what you've been telling me to do and stuff." And there was like video evidence of her just like gorging herself in her
Video
bed and
evidence.
stuff. Yeah.
Video surveillance.
Yeah. And they'll like it's a fascinating show. It's,
bet.
Yeah.
You gonna check out Aaron Paul's new show at any time? I've heard it's pretty good. It's like a Hulu exclusive. Yeah.
No. What's it called?
Hulu.
I can't remember. I forgot the name, but it's been renowned as being really awesome. So.
I've heard Mr. Robot is pretty good.
I've heard that's
on
good
Hulu.
tip I think it's on Netflix now as well. No, maybe it's Amazon.
See, I'm not paying for Hulu. Lizzie, my girlfriend, has Hulu, so I'm jipping off of her like a leech.
Yeah, my mom has like every service now, so she just gives me her password. It's pretty great. So, but yeah, I've heard Mr. Robot's good. Maybe I'll watch that at some point.
I have Amazon Prime too, so I have the big three. Yeah. I also have Crunchyroll.
When you get to that point, we have all the services. It's kind of stressful because there's so many things you can watch.
What's up?
Everything on there is Japanese, right? There's no English shows.
It's all hentai. That's all it is.
Oh, wow. Yes, all of it. $5 a month.
So I've always wanted to go watch like all the Pokemon episodes.
Is it all on there?
I don't know if Pokemon's on there.
Yeah.
Maybe. But
ever since we started playing Pokemon Go, I wanna watch Pokemon.
There are dubs and subs.
Because I've only watched the first full season and then also the X and Y, which I'm watching now. But I've always wanted to watch the rest. Yeah, I really enjoy it. Pokemon Go is really that's really put its claws into me, and I'm really embracing Pokemon lately.
Yeah.
So they got me.
Speaking of the original Pokemon series, I remember when I was a kid in elementary school. I'll name this friend a different name too. This guy's name is, we'll call him Joe. So I used to go to Joe's house almost every afternoon because we rode the same bus, or mostly on Fridays I go to his house, and we'd watch Pokemon and play with our Pokemon cards for hours. And that's the bulk of my memory of watching Pokemon was at Joe's house. Well, his brother was like the real life Napoleon Dynamite, like to the T. Looked like him, talked like him, everything.
I can vouch for that because I went to Joe's house too one time, and we were playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And Joe's big brother like kicked in the door and was like, "I'm gonna whoop both your asses in Yu-Gi-Oh!" And he schooled us. Yeah. And this guy was like late high school or something like that, way older than us, and he had like the Yu-Gi-Oh! Like blade thing.
Yeah, you had that too, though.
I did too. I was in like
it was the
middle
disc.
school.
Yeah.
I was the correct age to have one.
Yeah.
So
Yu-Gi-Oh's a good show.
It is a good show, but I remember when we were...
Is it really, Jacob?
No.
I rewatched it.
It's entertaining.
Awful. I rewatched it a while ago, and I was like, wow, this is bad. Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
They just make up rules.
Yeah.
Like,
you made up rules every time we played Pokemon.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to stay loyal
Yu-Gi-Oh!
to the show, Garrett.
Yeah, I know. Preston would cheat and beat me every time. See, regardless, I didn't have any idea what I was doing when we played Yu-Gi-Oh! But I had a full deck, and Preston somehow, some way would always be like, "Oh, I won again," every time. Still, I had no idea what I was doing, so I believed him. But in my heart, I knew he was probably cheating half the time. And that's true. You did sometimes find a way to win.
Sometimes. Yeah. I'm not. I didn't even know
sometimes
how to play the game.
I was a cheater.
I did at a point. I learned how to play the Pokemon card game and the Yu-Gi-Oh card game legit. And when I did learn how to play legit, Joe would just destroy me every single time, and it went all through me. So.
Yeah. Speaking of Joe, the reason why I said he was like the real life Napoleon Dynamite is one time we were sitting there watching Pokemon, and my friend lived at like the bottom of a hill, so their driveway was a massive hill. And I remember he got home from school one day, he was walking down the hill, and we were inside, and his mom, Joe's mom, came into the room. She's like, "Now remember, boys, do not talk to Joe when he gets home from school because he's always in a bad mood."
Is Joe your friend, or is Joe your friend's brother?
So, sorry.
I think you're interchanging Joe.
Sorry. Joe was my friend. His brother we'll call Zeke. Yeah. So Zeke's walking down the hill, and Zeke's mom's like, "Now remember, do not talk to Zeke when he comes home from school because he's always in a very bad mood." He opens the door and she's like, head down. His mom's like, "How was school?" And he's like, "Ugh," just like walked upstairs and went to his room. So he's kind of like the real life Napoleon Dynamite when his grandma or his aunt or whoever is like, "How was school, Napoleon?" He's like, "The worst day of my life. What do you think?" He's essentially the real life Napoleon Dynamite.
Dude,
Cool.
he's the real life Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah.
I get it.
That's why Napoleon Dynamite was so funny when I watched it. I was like, because I know someone like that.
I know this guy.
Yeah, but great movie, Napoleon Dynamite.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. That's,
Let's wrap this up so I can go get some food.
Yeah, I'm
are you
hungry?
hungry? Oh man, I wish I hadn't already eaten.
That was the It's Obvious Gaming Podcast, the show where my two best friends and I get together every single week to discuss video games, obviously. If you liked that, please subscribe and leave a like down below. Also leave a comment. Tell us we're handsome. Tell us we're interesting. Tell us anything that will personally make us feel
Boost
better
our
about ourselves.
or not enthusiasm.
Our morale.
ego.
Boost our morale.
Our morale,
all that
yeah.
stuff. All that stuff. We're also on Spotify, iTunes, Audio Boom, and Google Play. Please subscribe to us on those platforms and give us great high reviews.
Was that your best Borat impression?
Yeah,
Good.
I just
Great
that,
high reviews.
That was the other night I watched it.
Okay.
Funny
Did you
movie.
enjoy it?
Yeah, it's great. I
Nice.
like when he goes, me and Lizzie always say to each other, we go like, very nice, how much? And we kiss at each other.
Nice.
Because he's talking to the women on the street asking, how much?
Yeah, right. I always like when he says,
so-
what kind of dog is this? And it's, that's a turtle.
Or when he's with the feminist group.
Yeah.
And he's like, starts talking about Baywatch, and he's like writing notes down. And he goes, come on, smile, pussycat.
Yeah. That movie is so freaking funny. I'll never forget the first time I saw it. But yeah. Also, one thing I
Great.
wanted to throw in there. Let us know your top 3 favorite games of this console generation, or the best games, either or. But I went with my favorites, but at least let us know your top 3. I'd love to hear them.
We don't care. It's just, you tell us your favorite 5 games with people in it.
Yeah, at least
basically
some of your favorites. I'd
yeah.
love to talk with you about those games, because some of you could have different favorite games than us, so it'd be cool.
Yep.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Any closing thoughts, Jacob?
No,
Great.
I'm hungry.
Also, like I said earlier in the podcast, if you want to play some games with us or anyone else in the community, join our PSN community called It's Obvious Gaming, found in the Discover tab of your friends list on PSN. We'd love for you to join. Let's talk there as well.
We're growing at an alarming rate at
Yes.
about 1 per month.
Yes, about 1 a month. We're becoming an army, the It's Obvious army. So join now while you still can.
Yes, before our 10,000 places
alarming
get taken.
rate.
Yeah,
It's quite scary. It's frightening to us.
it's a little overwhelming.
Yeah, but we will see you guys next week.
Absolutely. Everyone have a fantastic week. See ya.